All right, welcome to the Ultimate Pool Pro Series. First time in a few months we've been able to say that, and with that being said, it is Judgement Weekend. Welcome along to the big one at the end of the year. This is where it all comes to a head, and joining me to preview the action on this first day, Simon Webb and Gareth Potts. Boys, I'm going to start with you, Gareth, as you are in action soon enough. This is a big one for the players, isn't it? There's only 4 events in this calendar year, and with that, this one coming right at the end, a little bit of a break before it in terms of Pro Series as well. There's a lot on this one.
Yeah, it's a huge weekend. Obviously, the extension to the top 28 for the seeds for next year. I mean, I'm sure everyone's seen the huge announcements of the wild cards for next season. So I think that race to the top 28 is the huge sort of watch this weekend, because being 28 or 29 is such a huge difference for next year. So everyone that's in and around that is obviously ultra focused on that, and there's all this look at, if I win this match, if he does this, if he does that. So I think that's the first priority, and then of course, you know, there's all the other stuff, the number 1 spots, the champion of champions. So of course, huge weekend, and everyone almost, you know, just jockeying into position.
Yeah, it should be an absolute cracker, not just for our pros, Simon, as well. It's an enormous weekend, probably even more so, you could argue, for the challengers.
Yeah, there's a lot going on. Obviously, the first and foremost, there's tournaments to be won here and prize money to be won. But with everything else going on, rankings-wise, top 16 for the challengers is massive. You know, it's the case of, are they going to be playing in these arenas? Are they going to be playing the likes of Gaz next year in the Pro Series? It's what all the challengers want to do. It's why they're in the Challenger Series, because they want to get into that pro ranks. And it all comes down to this weekend. And even if you're not in the top 16 now, you can really climb up a long way. You could be down in the mid-hundreds and still get in there. You could even be lower than that if you come up and have a really good weekend. So big weekend for a lot of players.
Yeah, absolutely. And in terms of yourself, Gareth, we'll just preview your match a little bit later on. It's coming up on this table. Big one against Craig Waddingham. I said to you a little bit earlier on, great match for us neutrals, but I'm sure you two would have rather avoided each other in round 1, if we're being honest.
Yeah, I mean, but you know, look, you've got to play somebody that comes through those prelims, you know, as a seed. Obviously, you know, Craig is a very, very good player, but so are a lot of them. And like I said, you know, before, that the way these tables play, you know, the conditions are so good now. It's all about making balls off the break at this level. So I don't really sort of read too much into what is a good draw and is a bad draw anymore. It's just a case of go and try and do what, you know, you do on the table, and hope the gods are with you, sort of thing.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just the way it's got to be done, and it just around us actually, you can see the players jockeying into position on the tables. 3 streams, of course, over the course of this weekend. So much action to come on a very chilly December weekend in Blackpool. So chilly, in fact, Don Cooney's only just taken his hoodie off over on table 3. But so what are you predicting from this weekend? Not in terms of specifics, but do you think we're going to see some crazy stuff happen?
I think we're definitely going to see some crazy stuff happen, because I said this when I was doing Ultimate Ball Extra last night. I think we're going to see a lot of players, whether they want to admit it or not, they're going to be getting their phones out, they're going to be checking the rankings, whether they've just lost or they've just won. Have I done enough? Do I need to do more? What's going on? And I think the players that actually manage to forget about that, the players that can just keep the sort of clean mind and go next match, and actually come here to win the tournaments, might have more success. Those ones worrying about the pressure of top 28, top 16. Let me ask you though, Gaz, does top 16 matter for the pros? Does top 8 matter? Does top 4 matter? Because obviously you've got an outside chance of number 1, although it's highly unlikely. But for you, I guess top 4 is a big push. Does that matter?
I think it only matters in terms of the actual draw. So for example, you know, the top 4, you can't play anyone else inside the top 4 until the last 4.
Yeah.
The top 8, you can't play anyone else until the quarterfinal. So the draw obviously goes like that. But no, obviously the 24 bracket is the main one.
Yeah.
Because and just to touch on the amateurs, you know, which you spoke about before, you're right, it is a huge weekend for those amateurs, because obviously to turn professional as an amateur is, in the ultimate pool world now, is obviously a huge deal. To get your chance of playing live on TV and all of the stuff that's happening in ultimate pool now is obviously a huge deal, and you know, almost life changing for some of the guys. So for them to be getting into position to make that top 16 is obviously huge for him.
Yeah, back in the day, you know, I was lucky enough I was able to turn professional. It didn't mean anything. It was just a word that people used to use.
Well, you just let anyone in, right?
Exactly, anyone can play. I've proved that. Yeah. But actually now, to earn that right to be a professional here with Ultimate Pool, it can be life changing. The amount of money that you could potentially play for over the next few years, next 10 years, who knows where we could be. It could be life changing.
Yeah, and I think the big thing as well to remember is, for those amateurs coming in, for everyone, obviously with the names that have been announced for next season, the big snooker names, and obviously more names to be announced.
Yeah.
Especially for those amateurs coming in, playing the likes of Mark Williams, Stephen Maguire, all these huge names that have now just been announced, potentially playing those guys live on TV is obviously a massive deal. It's a massive deal for your sponsors. It's a massive deal for the profile of you, the credibility, and obviously they'll all be aware of that. So I think it may come down to obviously the Sunday where people are like, oh, if he wins this match, he might be in, and obviously you're going to see a lot of twitchy matches.
Yeah,
we saw that this time last year, didn't we? It was fantastic. And of course, last time we were on this table here in the Grand Hotel in Blackpool, we were talking about some incredible runs. Carl Sutton won a Pro Series last time, and he hadn't won a Pro Series match all year before that tournament. Anything can happen on these weekends, as we've already seen. And it's time to get started, boys. We've got a great first match coming up. Aaron Davies versus Phil Harrison over on this table. Tom Cousins, Dom Cooney getting underway just over on my left, and also got Jordan Church, Christophe Lambert for you on the other table. All tables live as always with full coverage on the Ultimate Pool app. Pleasure to have your company. Let's get it on. Let's hear from both players. Very quick chat on off camera there, and the words you just said to me, I'm just happy to be in the draw. These prelims are a tough thing to get out of, and you've done so in the end pretty comfortably on the scoreline. How did you find it out there?
Well, it was tough out there, because it was cold when we walked in there this morning, and then all of a sudden I was sort of 5-2 up, and then I realised that they'd turned the heating on, and I could feel my face burning. But no, it's nice to get through, and like you say, I look around me and there's great players everywhere playing a prelim. It's crazy. It's nice to be in the draw.
Absolutely, and we've been watching you all year, of course, and I think it's been safe to say it's been a bit sort of boom or bust in your Pro Series life. You've had great runs, and when they've not been great, they've really not been great. I'm guessing just being in the draw for you is probably quite a good sign at this point.
It is. Yeah. I mean, like I said, I've been struggling for the last 18 months, but. I just keep going. I probably should have had a year out last year, really, with the things going on. But I thought if I did that, then I'd be struggling to get back into the game. So I've just ploughed through, and I've had some shockers, but I'm here.
Absolutely, and we love having you here. What's your form sort of been like coming into this event? Because obviously we've not had a big Ultimate Pool event for a while. I know you're a big tournament player around the clubs and stuff. How you been playing recently?
I've been playing all right. I've been playing steady. I've been doing all right on the one-day events, but I tend to, because I don't really play that much, I tend to, if I can get through a few rounds, then I can sort of get into it a little bit. But playing one match and then playing another match, 4 hours later or whatever, I find it very difficult. But no excuses, everybody else is doing it and I'm not, so I've got to find it.
That's what it's all about, and I wanted to ask you as well, are you a rankings checker or are you a rankings avoider? Are you looking or are you not looking this weekend?
I don't worry about the rankings. I never worry about the rankings. I mean, obviously I wanted to be in the top 16, but I've always, the last 10 years, I just wanted to win tournaments. I'm not worried if I'm number one or whatever I am. I just want to win a tournament. So that's all it is for me.
Great attitude to have, Phil. Best of luck tonight. Aaron, welcome back to the Pro Series. Lovely to see everyone again, but I'm guessing you're really excited to get going first on this afternoon.
Yeah, it's been quite a while since we've had one of these weekends. Really looking forward, because it's the arena setup. It's so good to play in. That's what you dream of playing in when you're younger. So yeah, really looking forward to it. And it's been
a decent stretch since the last series, but it's not stopped you being busy. We obviously saw you at the Worlds with England and pulling out shots out of nowhere. You've still been keeping yourself busy on the table, I'm guessing.
Yeah, I'm one of them who always practices. I don't take a break when we've got a break between tournaments or anything. So I'm always playing, really trying to keep sharp and improving as well.
And with that being said, it's always hard to sort of gauge where players are because we're so far in between different series. As form isn't really relevant to the last series, if that makes sense. How are you feeling coming into this one personally?
I wouldn't say I'm just the best I've ever felt. I'd say I'm probably not playing as well as I'd like to, but I'm looking forward to the weekend. So it can happen, you can turn up and play well, or it doesn't really matter always how you're playing leading up to it.
Absolutely. And first up, you've got Phil Harrison, a player that I know you respect an awful lot, and both of you are really going to be chasing those ranking points this weekend, I bet, as well. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, I think in terms of the top 28, I think I'm pretty comfortable now I'm in it. But obviously I'd like to finish as high up as possible, and obviously I want to win I want to win an event as well, so that's what I'm aiming for.
I've been knocking on that door, haven't you?
Yeah.
Good luck today, and best luck for the tournament as well.
Cheers.
Okay then, here we go folks. Welcome back to the Ultimate Pool Pro Series. Our first match of the tournament is about to get underway. Phil Harrison and Aaron Davies. And delighted to say joining me on commentary for our first match on the main table here for the Pro Series is Mr. Greg Batten, the Pac-Man himself. Came through his prelim earlier on, so he's feeling nice and chipper. In fact, no, you didn't, did you? You didn't have a prelim. We talked about that just earlier, so forget that intro. But you got a first round match, so you're feeling pretty chipper.
I am feeling chipper, but yeah, it's just nice to be in the warm, commentating with you on this, what promises to be a brilliant match. Phil Harrison needs no introduction, of course, and he's, I think, very nearly coming back to form. Certainly, he's not had the best of season. But he's up against a very accomplished player in Aaron Davies, so it promises to be a great match.
Yeah, it really should be. And I mean, just speaking to Phil earlier on was quite nice. You get a bit of an insight into his character, and I think he's quite sort of, I mean, a very self-deprecating guy in a strange way. For someone who is, you know, for so many players, they're one of their biggest influences. I've said it for a long time. You know, if you ask most pool players who their favourite pool player is, it tends to be Phil Harrison. He's your favourite pool player's favourite pool player, as the phrase goes, and he's had a bit of a tough year, but I think he's still got the quality. But I think for Phil, who's so used to winning and having almost consistent success, it has been difficult to sort of deal with not having that, because the field is so stacked. It's not really possible to do that consistently. I mean, we saw what Shane did last year, but we've also seen that this year it's not a fluke in any way. It's just that's just the level evening itself out. Shane's still one of the best players in the world, but you just can't consistently go and win tournament after tournament.
Yeah, no, absolutely right. And I think Gareth alluded to it in the introduction. You know, the playing conditions now for everybody are so good. The balls break up so well that it really does come down to how well you break and getting balls, giving yourself chances. You know, Phil, he's probably maybe lost a little bit of confidence because of the results that he's been having. But he's such a great player, and you know, class is permanent and all that. I think that it's only a matter of time before he gets back in the groove, and we see some really good things from him. And this weekend could be one of them.
Yeah, and he'll take breaks like that for the rest of the weekend if he can get them. Didn't seem to strike it with a whole lot of power, but I think that's something we've seen consistently through the Pro Series this year. And Phil's always been one who's experimented a little bit with his breaks anyway. Is that you don't really need to be absolutely killing that cue ball to get good consistent splits and get yourself at the table. I mean, this is a prime example. He's in good shape here if this red can go and he can avoid the yellows.
Yeah, absolutely right. And for anybody watching at home that's, you know, learning the game or trying to improve, what you saw Phil do there was get on his awkward ball as soon as he possibly could, and that is the art of making you know, your chances as easy as you possibly can. You've got to get on the awkward balls as quickly as you can, and then the rest from here, look, it's pretty much plain sailing, or it should be for someone of Phil's ability. Although he's just let that one slip. I don't know whether this red passes the black, and I don't think it does by the way he's looked.
Having said that, though, you wouldn't be the first person to be fooled by some Phil Harrison body language.
No.
It must be absolutely murder to be in the other chair, because Phil will look like that even if he's plumb perfect on a ball.
Yeah, he's the best at that for sure. You're in your chair thinking, oh, I've got a chance here, and then he does that.
Yeah, he's still absolutely fine.
Yeah.
But I think he just sets himself such high standards that he gets incredibly annoyed when he's not perfect. And he wasn't perfect there, in fairness to him, but he's played a good recovery shot.
And actually, it might be a thing that he does for his mind. You know, if you kid yourself that, oh, you're not in great position or whatever, it somehow takes a bit of pressure off you for the next shot. So maybe it's just a little trait that he has, and he's stuck to it. But looking very good for a first frame breaking clearance. And this is the exact start you want.
Yeah, absolutely. Not just
for the match, but for the weekend in general. Phil has already come through a prelim, beat Oli Bale earlier on, and looks sharp, does the farmer. Looks very sharp indeed. Good start.
Obviously, there's a little bit more added pressure on the likes of Aaron Davies and myself, of course, who are teetering around that top 28. So every match is magnified. You want to keep winning, and then your ranking will take care of itself. So,
Yeah.
massive weekend for myself and the other players that are in and around that area, and even for players a lot further down. You know, if they get on a run and they get a semi-final or a final, that could immediately propel them up the rankings and in with a chance.
Yeah, I wanted to ask as well, because since we last sort of had a pro series, we've always had all the announcements about the 2023 series, and obviously a fair few announcements regarding new players for the 2023 series as well. I mean, it's a hugely exciting time to be a player, I can imagine.
It really is. It's just incredible. I think, you know, from my own point of view, you're on the edge of your seat, wondering who's going to be the next player that they announce. You know, so yeah, the last few weeks, some of the names that have come out that are confirmed as playing next year is just incredible, really, and a testament to the professionalism and just how well run everything is now at Ultimate Pool. Aaron,
What's been the wild card that's caught your eye the most?
oh goodness me. I think you'd probably have to go in terms of the most well-known, most high-profile would be Mark Williams, of course. And I think he's got his own club, his own pool club now, which is doing really well. So, yeah, that would be the standout. But then you've got the likes of Stephen Maguire and Mark Allen, and who knows who else is to come, you know. It's just amazing.
Yeah, I have a little bit of an insight, but it's exciting, let me tell you. I'm going to keep my cards very close to my chest, mainly because I'll be killed if I don't. But it's yeah, they're not quite done, the wildcard announcements, which is just
wow,
it's brilliant.
I've got a little bit of money in my pocket. Maybe we'll have a chat after this.
Speaking about the here and now, Aaron's in prime shape. He's never been the world's biggest breaker, but generally speaking, if Aaron does find his break, he's an incredibly dangerous player.
Yeah, something he's worked really hard on, and I think you can tell that. You know, he puts so much into his break, and as you rightly say, if he does get a ball, he's usually extremely clinical. But having said that, the tables maybe caught him out as he's overran his first shot.
Yeah, I think we will see a little bit of that in the matches this afternoon as everyone plays their first matches out on the arena tables, because it's worth pointing out, as always, in case you're unaware, that the prelim matches aren't played out in the main arenas. This is the first that all the players are experiencing the arenas for the first time in a little while. Actually, it was late summer, wasn't it? Our last Pro Series event. It has been
feels like it's been a
minute.
Extremely long time. Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, you're right. It's going to take a little bit of getting used to, and nothing like winning your first frame to settle yourself down. And unfortunately, there, Aaron's had to go for a slightly extravagant shot, which he probably didn't want to. And Phil Harrison is the last man you want to leave with a chance to go two ahead. Problem ball is going to be this yellow down past the black, which is closest to the red. If that goes, then it's not too bad, but if it doesn't, he's going to have to try and disturb it somehow. And there you can see it doesn't go, so not easy to get out from here. Each player gets one extension per frame. Phil just taking that now because he's having to think about exactly where he wants the cue ball. And he didn't want it there.
No, last place he wanted it. Should say as well, a very good afternoon to all of our friends watching on YouTube at the moment. We are live for the first three matches of the afternoon, and then we're going to continue coverage all weekend long over on the Ultimate Pool app. And a bit of a taster session. Get you started, and you can join us for the rest of the weekend over on the app. It's going to be a fun one. Phil's got touching ball there, so can play away, and just had to hit a cushion, which he did, and he could really pick where he wanted the cue ball there, and he feels that's the best place to have put it. But he's left a tempter.
He has, and this will test Aaron's cueing, because he doesn't want to play this too hard. He knows that the red next closest to the yellow goes, so he just needs to get this pot very nicely done, and he should be okay now.
Must admit, I didn't love that shot from Phil. I think the choice was absolutely fine, but in terms of where he left the cue ball, I think he would have been disappointed with it.
Yeah, and he would have known that, because, you know, at this level, even though it looks a different...
Oh,
my goodness.
well.
My goodness me.
That one is a surprise. It's not as bad a miss as it maybe looks. Aaron is trying to pinch the pocket there to create more angle, but that was a surprising miss, no question about it.
Yeah, and Aaron doesn't give very much away. He's got a good poker face, but that will have hurt, because you know, he knows all too well that you can't afford to let players like Phil get a couple of frames in front, because it's so hard then to peg them back. I think, even though Phil will be looking up to the heavens, I think he's perfect on this yellow.
Yeah, he wants to drift down the left side rail, doesn't he, to drop on that ball on the bottom. He might be a little bit straight, but as I say, you talk about Aaron having a good poker face, Phil's must be awful.
Oh, look, he's perfect.
Yeah, he's fine.
He was leading us all down the garden path, but he's come a little bit high on this yellow. This is not going to be easy to control. A couple of ways you can play this. You can play this with lots of bottom and right hand side, almost a slow drag shot, which will kill the white, or you can play it with top, maybe up and down the table. So even better,
he's used the 8 ball. That's lovely.
What a lovely shot. Very nicely done.
That's a classy touch, that, from Phil Harrison. That's a very Phil Harrison shot. And he'll fly into a 2-0 lead, Will the Farmer.
Yeah, and this is where just those little mistakes are magnified, because you know, within a blink of an eye, Phil's break could be 3-0 down, and then Aaron is in pretty big trouble already.
He certainly is. There we see Phil Harrison. I mean, that CV is just elite, isn't it?
Not too shabby, is it?
He'll take it.
You wouldn't mind just one of the lines, let alone 3.
Yeah, world champion back in 2009, and could have had a fair few more as well. I think 3-time beaten finalist, I think, Phil Harrison, maybe twice.
Yeah, I think if he hadn't had the likes of Mick Hill and...
Yeah, it's good mate Mick Hill's really that record for him.
Yeah, his roommate. See the break this time from Phil, and you're absolutely right in what you say. He's definitely taking a lot off that break, because there was a time when he was actually standing up off the break and driving right through. Here you can see he's head down, cues the ball, and still getting a fair bit of pop, although not as much as he'd probably like, but who cares if you're getting a ball?
Well, that's it, isn't it? It's just giving yourself that chance, and I think for Phil, he's focusing more. I like this break personally. In this arena, we've seen it throughout this year. He's meddled. He's messed around with quite a few different styles, and I think I like this for Phil. If it's finding fruit in the early going, it's one of those that you can stick with for the rest of the weekend, really.
Definitely. Well, the good thing about it is that...
Got so much control over it.
Yeah, exactly right. You know, he's probably at, what, 70% maybe of his full power, 60% even, and the good thing is he's, as a percentage, he's keeping that white ball on the table, you know, and if you're getting a ball, then you're giving yourself the best possible chance. And the balls have come out really nice here on red, so fully expect Phil to take this opportunity, providing he can keep control of the white. Nothing much really to do, just manage that cue ball. you see he wanted to come down for this red that he's closest to first, but he's not come far enough. And the only very slightly tricky ball is the red closest to the black. So see where he goes. He may elect to go a different way now. One of the keys to improving and getting to this top level pool is your pattern play, and you'd be hard pushed to find anybody better than Phil Harrison at knowing the right routes.
Well, you mentioned it earlier on, didn't you, that for those watching the game and wanting to improve, Phil is a great player to watch. I know plenty of players down the years have learnt off one of the masters, and Phil is certainly that. He's always played English pool as well. It's a fair few, the likes of Potts and Hill and Melling and the others from that golden era who've maybe gone and played Chinese 8-ball, American pool, 9-ball, whatever it may be. But Phil's always almost regimentedly stuck to English 8-ball. That he knows this game inside out, probably better than just about anyone.
Yeah, absolutely right. And I think, as that just goes
inside out.
Yeah, he knows how to use the knuckles and everything. But no, he's probably the only one of those players that you just mentioned that maybe slightly goes under the radar for people just outside of pool and everybody else, so anybody inside pool knows the calibre of this man.
Yeah, it's a good barometer of who knows their onions when they're talking about the game, I think, sometimes
right.
as well.
Yeah.
As we take a look at the cyborg, Aaron Davies, who, as I mentioned in his interview just before we got going here, has just been knocking on that door of Pro Series success. He's a fabulous player, is Aaron Davies. He's been to a World Championship final with the Blackpool side of things a few years ago, prior to COVID. But in terms of what he's been doing on Ultimate Pool, he's been to a Champions League semi-final, a Champions League final, and keeps going well in the Pro Series and just falling a little bit short. It's easy to forget, with especially the way that he carries himself and the way that he has a real maturity about him. Just how young Aaron Davies is. He's got so much ahead of him.
Absolutely right. And on a local basis, he wins. I think he wins the monthly competition that they play in his local club. He's made it his own. It's literally a case of, Aaron's come to pick up his wages. He's formidable up there. But no, you're absolutely right. Very professional, does everything right, works really hard at his game, and it's only a matter of time before we see a really big breakthrough in terms of winning a big competition, one of these perhaps. That was a really nice break there as well, so Aaron will be conscious that he really has to take this opportunity now if he can. Doesn't want to slip 4 behind and race to 7. 3-1, you're still very much in with a shout. Nice shot there. Again, he's just going to have to really think about the route here and make it as easy as he possibly can to clear these balls up. May see him play a cannon now. Yeah, directly into the black. That's a good shot because it frees everything
where
up.
the 8 balls ended up as well.
Yeah, it just frees everything up for him now. So again, he'll be looking, I would imagine, at the yellow that is closest to the middle pocket on the right hand side, because that's in a slightly awkward position. So just see how he goes about this.
Yeah, he's got a very slight angle just to drift up off this yellow to the left middle.
Yeah,
which should be just about perfect. It might just make for a tricky last positional shot onto his last yellow, but
yeah, it depends how straight he can get on it. Maybe would have wanted I mean, that's probably fine, but as you say, he may have to come around 3 cushions now. But he's got such a big area, he should be absolutely fine.
Yeah, but players don't really love going around so many houses, as it were. But I mean, there's so much free space here. This really should be. It's a nice route he's picked out, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3.
Very
and
nice.
There we go. Perfect position for his final yellow.
Obviously, your main objective in any clearance is to keep the white ball from doing too much travelling. That's the objective, and that makes things easy for yourself. But he had no choice there, but he played it really well. And a good response from 3-0 down.
Yeah, 3-0 down. It's never a nice place to be, but Aaron Davies is at long last on the boards in Pro Series, we're on now 7. To just do some very quick maths in my head there. Pro Series 7 and 8 live for you this weekend on Ultimate Pool. Judgement Weekends, the final events of the Pro Series calendar. We have the Champion of Champions coming up next weekend for you as well, which is very exciting. And before too long, we're into 2023, and it's next season's competition, and a big part of this weekend is the jockeying into position for that as the series expands to 96 players. 28 will be seeded in the first round, which means you have to play one last match to win the tournament, which, when you see the standard and the quality across the field, no one wants to do that. If you can play less matches, work smarter, not harder.
Yeah, absolutely. And we've already seen from the the prelims, it really is a minefield in there. So the last thing you want to do is be playing more matches if you can help with it. Then you look at people like Craig Waddingham. I think it's probably helped someone like him who really is a top 8 player. I think top 16 certainly. And the prelims, he's done extremely well in all of them. I think he's only lost one. So see how Phil breaks these this time. See if he sticks with that 70% break. I think he should.
Yeah, I love that break. I love that break for him. He's come out a little bit unfortunate here. I'll be fuming with how that's come out.
Yeah, he's been very, very unfortunate. Cracking break, probably the best one he's done, actually.
Well, it's all about control. Number 1, keep the cue ball on the table. Number 2, make a ball. That's all you're looking to do with the break.
Yeah, absolutely right.
If you can hit it like that, you're going to keep it on the table 99 times out of 100, because you're playing at 70% pace. You've got so much more control over just hitting that cue, the front ball clean. You just need to not get kicked in off, and that's the art of it, really.
Yeah, and in this position that he finds himself now, the objective is to obviously not leave your opponent an easy opening. So you'll probably see him
done here, though.
Yeah, and he's only got 2 seconds now to hit this.
Time foul?
Yeah, just
Time
about.
foul called.
Yeah, I think it was called. I thought he was all right, but question the referee there. It'd be good to see a replay of that at some point.
And we'll see if we can get one for you, Gray, just to analyse the split seconds. But
It looked very, very close.
yeah, referee was right on top of things. And one thing you would say that doesn't necessarily help Phil in that situation is the fact that he is deaf, does wear a hearing aid. And he has to rely on not just his ears to listen to those beeps. Someone like Carl Morris, who is also deaf, is the best player of the shot clock I've ever seen, though. So
Yeah.
isn't necessarily a prerequisite, but I think that might just have caught Phil out there.
Yeah, and obviously you've got the visual cues on the screens there as well. But yeah, that was really, really close. It'd be good to see that at some point. But the worst thing about it is obviously he's given Aaron ball in hand, and 3-2 is 3-2. It's anyone's game again. Just needs to cue this nicely, which he has. Now then, if the two yellows closest to each other, if the top one passes, which I think it does by the way he's played that, he just needs to get this one in the pocket, and I think he's all but done. Play this one into the top. 2 yellows on the bolt cushion next, and then he'll just try and come down for yellow into the middle, I would imagine, and it should be 3-2. Aaron very measured. He's a very measured player. He's a bit like Phil, actually. He takes his
cut from the same cloth.
Yeah, definitely takes his allotted time. Makes sure that he sort of crosses everything off before he plays the shot. And I'm not sure. I think he's okay. Just looked very tight there for a minute, but I think he's absolutely fine. So drop this one in.
Yeah, he's going to play with quite a narrow margin there, but he's okay.
Yeah. And the good thing about it, you're playing on brand new cloths this weekend, so everything's really nice and slick. Even if you are slightly off, as he was there, the pockets tend to take them a little bit easier.
Yeah, if you're joining us for the first time in Ultimate Pool, especially those watching us on YouTube for the first 3 matches of this weekend, you'll see the first 3 matches on the main table here on Friday afternoon, and after that we'll always gone off Aaron.
Goodness me.
Oh, he's okay. But following the 3 matches, we'll be heading over for exclusive coverage on the Ultimate Pool app. You can come and join us for the rest of the weekend there, and if you want to go there right now, you can also stay across all 3 tables through the course of this weekend. We're live on all 3 all weekend long. Over on table 2 right now. Lovely shot, that. Little nudge. You'll do.
That will do just nicely.
Will do very nicely.
I'd like to see Phil's face there. He's shaking his head in the background.
Yeah, worth pointing out, not a foul that for potting the red as well. You're allowed to pot your opponent's ball as long as you pot your own first. Or as long as you pot your own in the same shot, play a legal shot to do so. And Aaron's away there. And you can just see Phil's face in the background, the little shake of the head. That's very on brand for Phil Harrison, is that. And Aaron Davies is roaring back. He's back in contention here. I can tell you over on the other tables, Jordan Church is taking on Christophe Lambert. That is on stream table 2. That's currently 4-2 to Jordan Church, and Dom Cooney 4-2 down to Tom Cousins over on stream table 3. Jordan Church, by the way, out of nowhere this weekend. I mean,
what was his first win? Who did he?
7-0 against Adam Basu in the prelim.
Goodness me.
And there we see Church. He's really struggled on the Pro Series this season. He's had a lot going on off the table. Hasn't dedicated the time, in his own words, and has rocked up here. Final weekend of the season, and I mean, he's flown out the traps there. I mean, long way to go. Don't get me wrong. The 7-0 prelim win's a good start. You know, never ever write off Christophe Lambert at 4-2 down against anybody, but long way to go in that match. But it's early signs looking very good for Jordan Church there. And I can tell you, next up on the main table, we've got. I mean, there's no stale tunes so far on table 1. We've got Danny Lees versus Mick Hill. We'll also see yourself later on, Greg, I think.
Yeah, 3 o'clock.
Which is exciting. You got Josh Kane, who came through a great match with Jordan Shepherd a little bit earlier on. And those will be the 3 games that you'll see live for free on YouTube this afternoon. All the rest available on the Ultimate Pool app. You do get yourself a lovely little discount code, though, should you wish to subscribe. Just check the description where you can find that and get yourselves signed up. One-stop shop for all things 8 balls. Aaron breaks off to try and go 3 each, and he's got a decent-ish opportunity to do so.
Yeah, very good break. Got a lot of power into that, but a little bit like Phil, there's a cluster of balls that have come down onto the close to the right-hand bottom pocket as we look, which is making things a little bit congested. I imagine that Aaron will probably elect to go, not sure, probably yellows. He's got to play 1 good shot if he goes to yellows. So
yeah, so one's the top right he's looking at, isn't it?
Yeah.
Right next to his cue at the moment. That's the one he's got to watch.
So
he's got a ball right next to it, which I imagine will help him out in that.
Yeah, the plan here will be make sure he pots this yellow bottom left, leaves the right angle then to play the cannon to try and knock out his awkward yellow. I think that's nice. I think that's perfect. I might try and play the controlled cannon here, so just a bit of stun, try and clip the yellow thin. There we go, very nice. It's hampered with his bridge in, which isn't going to help, but oh, he's getting the spider out. This is even more.
Well, this is proper.
Yeah, because the thing is, with this shot, he needs to actually get out of this area. He needs to come across the table to give himself a pot on his next yellow, so this is not easy at all.
Very, very seldom is the spider spotted.
Yeah, and you can see how good a shot that was. Phil tapping his leg in appreciation in the background, which is nice. So one more good shot here from Aaron, and we'll be back at 3-all.
Oh, he certainly will. He's in good nick. Here's the cyborg, and he's another lovely little nudge.
Yeah, Phil's scratching his head.
Keep having those. You'll go pretty well this weekend, Aaron.
Yeah, and it's been a bit of roles reversal, a mistake from Aaron. He was 3-0 down, and a time foul from Phil Harrison, and he's seen himself lose the last 2 frames. So
yeah, a bit of a pivotal moment, wasn't it? That time foul now in hindsight, and Aaron here to square things back up. Was 3-0 down.
Just shows you're never safe in these matches. The shot clock and everything else that's going on. Never any time to relax.
No, and I mean that's absolutely how we like it, isn't it?
That's the beauty for everybody watching as well. It just makes every game so exciting. You're never sure whether you're going to be watching another 6-red shootout. So
we'll see a few of those this weekend. I don't doubt that. The one thing that I almost like though about the Pro Series is they do become a little bit sort of lesser spotted because of the longer matches than we're maybe used to on the Monday nights, for example.
Yeah.
The quality really does rise to the top in the Pro Series, but by that same token, it means the ones that do come along, they feel like they've got so much more on them.
Well, they're even more special, aren't they? And actually, you're right, and not a bad thing, I think personally, because you really want to see the very best come through. People that have performed the best over the weekend.
Yeah, agreed.
The Monday nights are just epic in terms of the excitement factor. But as you say, when you do see the 6-reds shoot out over these professional tour events, it just makes them all the more better. And Phil just another really good break. Look, as we see, straight in, crunches them head on.
That's going to be something to watch if Phil is going to run deep in this tournament and in Pro Series 8. Is if he can keep that break flowing like it is, he's going to be a problem this weekend.
Yeah, and clearly, again, it's something that he's been working on, and I think obviously you should be working on your break. That's the most important thing, because it gives you opens the door for the chances, And look at these reds. Not a lot to do here for Phil.
His good pal Carl Morris watching on, obviously not liking what he's seeing.
Well, he looks fresh. He's been out all night. I saw him earlier on this morning, and he's actually just got back from Croatia, he said. I don't know whether he flew in this morning or yesterday, so I don't know if that was
I hope for his sake it was yesterday, but I mean, that'd be a very Carl Morris thing to do, so just flying on the morning of.
Yeah, I'm not sure whether it was for work or an exhibition or what, but that's going to be pretty tired, I would imagine, depending on when he got back.
Yeah, really good friends, Carl and Phil, and quite the double act when they're together, let me tell you. Not least because both of them are deaf, which really does give quite a unique element to the double act. Great fun when they're together.
Phil really unhappy with his last shot, but it's not too bad. He just needs to snick this one in, control the white, which he has done. He's back in prime position again.
Yeah, Carl's got hit and Patel a little bit later on this afternoon. Catch that on either table 2 or 3, not too sure off the top of my head, but worth pointing out the Hitman has really found his Pro Series feet. 7-6 win in the prelims over Dylan Leary. one of a few that went to a decider. And it's amazing, isn't it, how many of those prelim games go to a final frame. Rob Warne 7, Luke Gilbert 6. Cousins 7, Ronan McCarthy 6. 7-6 win for Hinton Patel over Dylan Leary. 7-6 win for Josh Kane over Jordan Shepherd.
Yeah,
Dave McNamara over Liam White 7-6, and Cowboy 7-6 over Chris Day.
Yeah.
That's a prelim to get into the tournament. That's tough.
That is tough, and really tough on the guys that don't come through those matches, you know, coming so close.
Yeah, it's I mean, the phrase tough school doesn't even begin to do things justice as we take a look at the order of play for table 2. Jordan Church versus Christophe Lambert is live right now, and a great lineup as well coming up over on table 2. Shane Thompson, Rob Warne, Carl Sutton, Dan Gregg. Good to see Dan back in the Pro Series scene. He's missed a couple this year. Cowboys taking on Sean Storey in what's probably maybe the tie of the first round. Declan Brennan, Rob Chilson. Again, lovely to see Rob back. And I can tell you, Arfan Dad has literally just come through his prelim with Simon Fitzsimmons. 7-2 win for Daddy. He'll take on Jake McCartney later on. That's on table 2, available on the Ultimate Pool app. You can sign up over at ultimatepool.tv.
Yeah, nice win. Very good win there for Arfan. 7-2 against the bouncer is some result.
Yeah, especially as I think it's in the percentile which wasn't a 7-6 win, so it's in the minority.
Definitely.
Isn't that a crazy thing to say? 4-3 then, 25 minutes left, and the way that this match is going, it doesn't look like the match clock is going to be too much of an issue. Reminder that the clock stops for every frame for the Pro Series, as Aaron absolutely creams that break. You just can't hit them much better than that. And 25 minutes left. Plenty of time on the watch, so a reminder that we will take the score at 0 on the clock if we haven't got to 7. So say we were 6-6 at 0 on the clock, it would be a 6-red shootout, and if it was 6-4 or 6-3 or 3-2, well, it doesn't really matter. Whoever's winning when 0 comes around will get the win all the way through. Generally on the Pro Series this year, we haven't seen too many 6-red shootouts. You need a couple of really nitty-gritty tactical frames to see one of those.
Yeah, and a very nice first shot by Aaron. He had to land on this yellow perfectly, and he has. Just top it through. Oh. He's a bit unlucky there. Well, in fact, he's very unlucky unless he can get through to the yellow over the middle pocket. He just wanted to knock that yellow down over by the pocket that the white is closest to, but unfortunately he came off the cushion first, so gonna have to reroute. Just drop this yellow in, and he wanted to be off the cushion. However, he should be okay. He can either top it through or stun through the gap between the two reds, so really just needs to concentrate hard on making sure he gets the pot. And it's just going tit for tat at the moment now. Very, very high standard.
It has been. We've not really seen many mistakes, have we?
No, I think we've probably seen one, only a time foul from Phil, so he's not actually missed anything.
Yeah, which feels harsh to call it a mistake, doesn't it?
Yeah, and maybe just one miss from Aaron, so absolutely brutal in terms of the standard, and it's what we've come to expect now. Oh, but just as I say that, I've cursed Aaron because he's missed, for him, quite a routine shot, it has to be said.
Well, it certainly took Aaron longer to settle into the match, but since he has, he's been pretty good. But he'll be really disappointed to miss this.
Yeah, and he didn't even get close. He must have flicked a bit aside, which pushes the white ball into the yellow and causes it to hit it thicker. Phil looks like he's having a go at this red. Probably play this pocket weight just in case he misses it, which he has. And he's really forced Aaron into going for this now.
Yeah, and that's sometimes what you want to do as a tactical strategy, is you almost want to force your opponent to go finishes they really don't want, And that's the percentage play. Aaron might get out here, but that won't mean it was necessarily the wrong shot for Phil. He'd play it again. Percentages tell him it's the shot to play. Aaron's played a great pot. He's on his next one.
Phil is...
He's getting a couple of nudges, which is just annoying, Phil Harrison.
But the thing is, Aaron was fortunate because when he missed the yellow, he left Phil in a very awkward position. Phil, obviously his main objective was to get the pot. If he gets the pot, then he's fine. Second prize was cover the bag, which he did. But unfortunately, as we saw, Aaron has potted a very, very good yellow and had a nice kiss to get on his last one. So another good pot required, but really just needs to focus on getting the pot. Doesn't have to worry about the white here, because I think the red will stop it from going into the bottom left pocket. Yeah, nicely done. Great match so far, 4 apiece, and now the pressure is really going to start to ramp up on these two players.
Yeah, super standard. And for those of you watching on YouTube, I'm keeping my eye on the comments section. We've got an Ultimate Pool Pro here in the Pac-Man Greg Batten. If you do have any questions that you'd like answered or any messages you want to send us, do feel free. And as we take a look there at the table 3 order of play here on Judgement Weekend, Dom Cooney, Tom Cousins is happening right now. I can tell you Dom Cooney's pulled that one back. It's 4-4 in that game as well. Chris Melling then takes on Dave McNamara, Hiton Patel versus Carl Morris, Jack Whelan, Jimmy Croxton, and Sean Chipperfield, John Rowe. That is a tidy little lineup again. But there isn't a bad one over the course of this weekend, let me tell you.
No, there really isn't. And I think every one of the tables that you watch, you're just going to see quality pool. And this one is definitely no exception. I think
that
Phil
makes money.
Yeah,
it's absolute money.
Look at that. I think Phil will probably be feeling slightly aggrieved, slightly hard done by in this match to be 4-all, especially as he's seen Aaron make 2 more mistakes than himself. So, but look, if you keep breaking like that, you're going to be very, very hard to beat.
Well, what's that, his 5th break? I think he's made a ball off every one, had a chance off every one. Maybe apart from the one where he ran slightly awkward with the cue ball and he had to turn over the first shot. But I tell you what, you can't really wish to break much better than this. And as I say, that he'll be hoping the chances sort of will out and he gets on the right side of it. But Aaron has got a real stick ability to him. He's a difficult player to put away. It's a really unquantifiable kind of ability, but he's one of them, and you'll know that from having played him, that some players, you know that when you get a bit of a run on and you're away a little bit, you're thinking, oh well, I'm in control here, I'm playing well, just got to keep going. But with players like Aaron, they do just take a little bit of extra to just put the nail in the coffin, don't they? They never quite know when they're beaten.
They do, and credit to Aaron, that's all about his temperament, you know, and there's other players on tour that are not like that, and if you get 2 or 3 ahead, then you may see their heads start to drop a little bit, and you can pick up on the signs. Aaron is not one of those players at all,
no.
And you have to beat him. So he'll never give you the game and never beat himself, and I think that's something that you need to reach the top.
And it's worth pointing out as well that we talk about Aaron's temperament all the time. It's a really amazing attribute to have. Again, when you consider his age, he's not very old at all, but he's got the temperament of a player who's been around the game for over a decade. It's a fantastic trait to have.
Yeah.
That's the one that can often really take its time to come around, but not for Aaron, which is a great thing for him, and he's needing it here because Phil certainly played the better. And he's certainly breaking the better as well. But as it stands, we're still level.
The difference, I think, has been the tightness of the cue ball control from Phil. He's never really looked in an awkward spot, whereas Aaron's been fighting a little bit with that cue ball. I hope he doesn't mind me saying, but yeah, Phil has just had pinpoint accuracy on every ball, and
Phil looks really sharp.
He really does. He's clearly been putting the work in for this weekend.
Even that there was a confident shot. He was really confident with exactly where that cue ball was going.
Yeah.
Just bouncing it off the knuckle. It's pinpoint, it's precise, it's everything you love to watch about Phil Harrison. His only real false step has been that time foul. Other than that, when he's been at the table, he's been lights out so far.
Yeah, absolutely great stuff so far in this match. And Phil will be just praying that he gets another opportunity in this frame, whereas Aaron will, of course, be hoping to get a ball off the break and keep the pressure back on Phil.
You know, I said barely, it feels like a minute ago, that it was 4 apiece in the Cooney Cousins game. That's now 6-4 Tom Cousins. That's how quickly things can change when you're playing Tom Cousins. And it's gone 5-5 Jordan Church against Christophe Lambert. So these matches in the first round are running very, very close here, and don't think we'd really have it any other way. You know, you've had your first message in, Greg, from Lee. Shout out to Lee. What ranking are you at the moment?
Well, I've been doing so badly, Lee, this season that I've stopped looking, but I think I'm somewhere around 25, 26. So
such a good lie, by the way.
But no, yeah, I was doing well last year. I got to 12th, but unfortunately hasn't quite gone as well as expected this year round. So I think about around 25, 26. So I need a good weekend.
Sort of around that mid-table sort of spot for the series, but as you quite rightly say, big weekend to come, and this could be a really big moment in the context of this match as well. Aaron screwing straight in off the break. That's what we talked about a little bit earlier. Phil can't do that with the way that he's breaking, which is such a good thing. And it doesn't take much to break like that and to make a mistake.
No, and this was the last place that Aaron wanted to do that. You know, it's okay going dry, you know, not getting a ball. You asked the question then, but scratching in off direct is not what he wanted. And this is Phil's opportunity, I think, now to potentially close out the match because of the way he's breaking. You wouldn't bet against him finishing this frame off and then breaking and dishing in his last frame. So
yeah, very real possibility that Aaron has played his last shot. Likewise for Dom Cooney as well, who is 6-4 down to Tom Cousins in a race to 7. Not where you want to be.
No, Tom Cousins, another one who's came through earlier on, so he's already had that match under his belt, and he's not the type of player that you want to let a lead slip against. So a lot of work to do there for Tom. Phil will just drift up here now. Top, maybe a little tracer side. Oh, he's underhit that one quite badly, but he's now going to have to screw this in because the left-hand middle pocket is, I think, directly in the way. So yeah, he's just going to have to. Should be fine, but and it was.
Played it really well, and it's just those little subtle touches, isn't it, from Phil Harrison there. He's not played that particularly hard, and I think the instinct from some players there, maybe our viewers on YouTube, where you really want to get into the cue ball to make it react, but on these super fine cloths, you almost want to play it at that slightly slower pace to give the cue ball time to react and spin away.
Well, it's testament really to how good his cue ball's been that I was even saying, goodness me, he's played a bad shot here. You know, it wasn't a bad shot. He was just maybe 6 inches less than he wanted on the cue ball. But yeah, such is the standard of his cue ball. It's been incredible, really.
I can just tell you over on table 3, Tom Cousins is the first man into the last 16. He's beaten Dom Cooney 7-4. Super performance from the man they call Top Cat. Table 2 still nip and tuck between Jordan Church and Christophe Lambert. So crunch time then for Phil Harrison. His break has been perfect so far in this match. All he needs is another one. thought we'd put the curse on him there, Greg. I really did think we'd put the curse on him. Didn't get the best split, but it's a good cue ball, and he's made a ball. You can see there he's not getting a crazy explosion off the pack, but he's making balls and he's keeping that cue ball under control, and they are the two most important things.
Yeah, he's doing the main things. He's doing everything right on the break, and yes, of course you're relying on that little bit of luck, and maybe we can give him the benefit of the doubt there. Maybe the referee didn't quite have every ball touching, which is can happen. The referees do an amazing job, but occasionally maybe you didn't get every ball. He didn't get every ball touching there, so certainly didn't look like he got generated the power that he has been. But even so, I think he's still got 2 balls. And,
I thought that cue ball was very close there. His head just blocked it off, didn't it? I wasn't sure if it was going to go down.
He was teetering there, wasn't he? But he's elected yellows.
I think he wanted to pop that one a little bit thinner if he was being picky.
Yeah, I think you're right.
So he didn't plan to have that middle pocket in play, but he was fine in the end. And
oh no, he's gone red, so I do apologise.
That's all right. I didn't want to.
I am watching.
Yeah, absolutely. So still 14.5 minutes on the clock. We won't get near the 15-second shot clock even, I think, in this match. If everything goes to plan for Phil Harrison, this is really the only key shot he's got to play. And he's played it lovely.
Yeah, very nice.
You can just see from the overhead there, he's got a lovely little angle just to drop this one in. Dead weight, and he's onto the one in the middle, and all of his hard work is really done. Slightly awkward cueing. He's not the biggest Phil Harrison. He's fine.
Yeah, very nice. And again, just worked his route out perfectly here. Just takes the pressure off you when you know exactly what you're doing on every shot.
This is as well as I've seen Phil Harrison play in a little while.
Well, it's been exemplary, hasn't it? I mean, you'd be hard pushed to, apart from one mistake in terms of the clock management, he's not missed a ball. So
yeah, but I think he's a little bit betwixt and between here. I think he'll still be okay, but he's got a shot to play here. Top red's a little bit tricky to land on. Just needs to avoid the yellows. Well, he felt like he couldn't, so he just uses the black, and I mean, he's absolutely perfect.
Again, though, that was such a good shot because he had to cannon the 8 ball on the right side, which he did, and it could have been hampered cueing there if he'd got that slightly wrong. Swing it round, and as if he's not going to be perfect. Very, very, very good stuff this from Phil Harrison.
Super stuff this.
I wouldn't want to be playing him next, that's for sure.
It's been awesome this from Phil Harrison. He looks on top form this weekend. He's going to take some stopping. Phil the Farmer qualifies through to the last 16, eliminates Aaron Davies 7 frames to 4. Awesome performance from the Farmer, who will take his berth in that last 16, and he awaits plenty more to join him. Over on table number 3, Chris Melling and David McNamara are about to throw down. We're going to bid Greg Batten goodbye. Thanks for joining us this afternoon, Greg. And we've got plenty more to come on the stream for you here on the main table. Super performance from Phil Harrison. We'll hear from him, and plenty more on the way.
Same foul, because him coming off one cushion and potting this is so low odds. Oh, you're kidding me. I tell you are kidding me. That is incredible. What a shot that is. I'm amazed. Look at the room. There is just no room here at all. I thought he was going to hit the red, and if he hits the red, he loses the match.
Not got long here to figure out the angles for this. This is a bit of a... Oh, I'll tell you what. Oh my goodness me.
I said this when he turned up for his group. He's the best I've ever seen at shots like this. When the amount of times he pots the ball coming off a cushion, it's incredible. Happens too often to be luck.
I think he thinks this is going pretty close.
Yeah, there is a gap between the 2 yellows.
Bottom cushion in between the 2.
It's a bit of a guide, really.
Playing it with Fair outside. Oh, what a shot! Wow! He's produced there a moment of absolute magic.
So to play that shot with the side the way he did, that's just incredible. What a shot that is.
What's he playing?
Maybe just trying to nudge the yellow across.
Oh! You are joking.
Okay, maybe a little bit more than nudge the yellow across. He's gone and made it. That is brilliant. That really is. Not only has he made it, look where the cue ball finishes here.
The fact that he's left the cue ball there tells me he's meant to do that.
Yeah, he was absolutely trying to make that.
That's amazing.
Oh, great to hear from Jimmy Croxton after his victory earlier on, and oh, what a shot there is from John Sullivan, and he lets us know about it as well. He potted himself into all sorts of trouble, and that is outrageously good from John Sullivan.
Wowee.
Somehow he squeezed that through the cap.
Wowee.
Absolutely incredible. Nowhere. I thought he might just be targeting a soft cannon on the red just to the right of the 8 ball. It would have been a small target.
5 seconds to figure it out. Oh, tell you what. You're joking, Davies.
Wow. What a shot that is from both players. Back-to-back finishes, both finishing with incredible doubles. Well, that's pretty special.
That's disgusting.
Doesn't have enough time really to play the tactical shot, which is red onto yellow, take the pocket away and play the snooker at the same time. So needs to be aggressive. Is aggressive.
What a shot. What a shot. Gareth's managed to get this red off the table and hide the white. Oh, he's played the skill shot. You're joking, aren't you?
That's pretty special. That really is. Watch where the cue ball finishes when you look at that shot. You called the shot straight away. You said he's going to get the red off the table and hide the white. That's exactly what he's done, but he's played it in such a way, whereas if he makes the ball, then there is still a great chance to finish.
Can he salvage something? What a shot. Has he got a shot?
Shot.
Wow, Carl Morris. Wow.
That is incredible. My word, that is special. That really is, once again, from Carl Morris.
Look at that reaction. Absolutely amazing. Gamble. It's always a gamble. You've got to back yourself to make those 4 balls, because if Tom Cousins goes and pots his 8 ball off a cushion like that, you can look a little bit silly.
Welcome back to the Ultimate Pool Studio. Another night of fantastic entertainment on the way on the table. So we can't wait to get going.
Yeah, it should be another cracking night with plenty of drama along the way with all the players that we go on show. Anything can happen.
It's time to meet our players then. It's you.
3, 2, 1.
For the right to go through into the second stage, Mark Selby and Gareth Potts have to clear 6 red balls in less than 26.02 seconds.
So they're going to go.
I dare say there's a fair few snooker fans who are having a thoroughly enjoyable evening.
That's for sure. I think there'll be some of the snooker players will be as well. There'll be some banter flying about for sure, but serious business for these guys now. And we've seen a couple of really good breaks where you want to park the cue ball in the middle, just a soft little stun shot so that their balls don't go too far, and then you could just park the white on every single shot.
Now look where Gaz is positioned here. I think he's waiting. He is. They have been practicing.
Oh, that's so good.
Oh, Mark Selby missed pot. That's not ideal. They've still got a little bit of time to work with.
They're still in this, even with that missed pot, because of that great start.
He wants to hold the cue ball. He can.
They've got time. If he makes it, they're through.
Mark Selby nails the pot. And the jester from Leicester and the golden boy, the dream team, are through to the next stage of the Ultimate Pool Pairs Cup by way of 6 red shootout. That was brilliant.
Well, a very warm welcome back into the Ultimate Pool Studio, and I'd like to say, joined by our dream team this evening, Mark Selby, Gareth Potts. Mark, you've had some moments around a table, I know, but you celebrated that win more than I've seen you celebrate some big ones. How did that feel?
Yeah, it was good, you know. I mean, coming here, I was just going to think, right, it's just great fun, great to be partnering Gareth in a pool event, which I've not played for so long, but when you're out there, your competitive instinct kicks in, you know, and you don't want to lose in anything you play. I mean, even if I was playing Tiddlywinks with my daughter, I'd want to win. But yeah, it was great out there. I was just saying to Gaz, if you could predict winning in the way we've done on the shootout, then it's more exciting than any other way of getting through.
Oh, I mean, we said it on commentary, myself and Simon, when you were heading towards that last sort of minute and a half with Zach and Andy. We said, well, I wish them well and all that, but how much do you want to see a 3-way 6-red shootout? And the answer was absolutely. Wish you all the best, but I mean, guys, that was. I know the thing is, I knew you'd practice for it as well. You guys had prepped, you'd done all your homework, and ultimately it paid off for you.
Yeah, I have to confess, we did have a few practice goes that Mark came over and we had a practice, but we did practice the shootout because obviously the frames don't count. You know, the aggregate frame score doesn't count, so we knew that there's a very good chance he could go to the shootout. I mean, we've won 4-0, 4-0, and those are just 2 wins. It's not the 8-0 in the frame, so we knew it could go to the shootout, and we did have a little cheeky practice at it, and we did post a bit of a ridiculous score. And that's why we knew what we were going to do. Mark was going to break, hit the soft little stun, and it was weird because the balls were almost going in an identical place, and we did post a pretty good score in practice of like 14.33 in practice. So we were probably as confident as you can be going into a shootout, but it was absolutely horrible.
How much have you enjoyed it? It seemed like you were having so much fun out there.
Yeah, it's been great. As I said, pool's always been my background. It's where I started out. So, I mean, it was great to come back and not just play for fun, but play in a competitive event. And a big shout out to you guys, Ultimate Pool. I watch it every week when it's on TV. I think you do a fantastic job and it's a great setup. And also a big shout out to Gaz and Lee as well. As I said before, they've got a great club here and the atmosphere was good, the arena was great, and long may it continue.
Well, welcome back. I'm now in the studio with the winner of our last match, or our first match, Phil Harrison, and Scott Gillespie, who we're seeing later on today. First of all, Phil, congratulations. Very, very good victory against Aaron, a very good player, but also a very good performance as well.
Yeah, I'm quite happy with the performance. It was nice I think I got a ball off nearly every break, I think. So that certainly helps if you can get your hand on the table. And I thought I know Aaron's a bit under the weather, but I thought he missed one or two, but I'm pleased. Yeah.
Was the key giving yourself lots of chances, to breaking well, to give yourself chances? Because we saw you on Wednesday and you didn't really touch the table, and we don't really know how you were playing, so actually getting an opportunity out there.
Yeah, well, I didn't know I was playing either. Yeah, it was nice to get a few balls off the break, and and to be fair, that the splits were quite nice as well, so I'm happy.
Yeah. Scott, I know you're out there watching. What did you make of the match?
Yeah, Phil played really well, and it was such a different from obviously Wednesday till today. Phil broke well on Monday, but just didn't get the balls. And we all know at this level, if you're struggling to get balls, you'll struggle to win matches. And luckily for Phil today, he punished any Aaron's mistakes, plus had a few clearances himself from his break.
Yeah, obviously getting the results you needed in terms of getting the chances to be able to make those clearances. You've obviously come into the tournament this weekend under a little bit of pressure for your ranking, not having the season that you wanted to have, but you've won 2 matches this morning, you're looking sharp. Are you able to sort of kind of take huge positives out of that and look at this tournament in its own right, or are you still sort of trying to find your way?
Yeah, I'm still trying to find my way. I haven't really looked at the rankings at all. I don't really care about the rankings. I'm not really been worried about it. I just want to win a tournament, and that's been my mentality for the last 10-15 years. The rankings mean nothing to me, but obviously I want to try and win tournaments, so if I am winning tournaments then the rankings will come. But I'm just happy to be out there playing at the minute, to be honest.
You say you're here to win tournaments. Do you feel like you're in the sort of rhythm and the sort of level to win tournaments now? Do you think this is definitely a weekend that you could go deep and win one?
Well, if I keep playing like that, then obviously I suppose you'll have a chance. But there's so many good players in the draw. You just never know. You just never know.
Yeah, well, you're now following your prelim in that match, and now 2 matches through, so you're off to a very, very solid start.
Yeah. I'm really chuffed. Yeah, chuffed for that.
And Scott, we're going to see you in action later on this afternoon. You're playing Emma in our final match of the afternoon session. How's the game? How are you feeling ahead of the action today?
Yeah, no, I'm looking forward to it. Obviously, you as a Pundra's side, they're all looking forward to the top 28 places and stuff like that. And I do believe it is in the back of everyone's mind, regardless of what they say. But no, listen, I'll just go out there and take it ball at a time and frame at a time and see where it goes.
Well, let's turn our attention to our second match up, and I think it's an absolute cracker. We've got Gareth Potts taking on Craig Waddingham. We've seen them play here before. What's your first take on that match, Scott?
See, Gaz, I just think Gaz plays well all the time. You very rarely see him miss balls that he shouldn't miss and stuff like that. But also, Waddingham's looked unfazed since he's come back really in the Ultimate Pool, and obviously the way he dominated his Challenger Series last year. He's had a couple of good runs this year, and like the way the rules are set up, Waddingham just fancies it all the time, so it'll be a cracker.
Yeah, he's a sort of world beater at his best, and he's confident all the time as well, which is key. And we were talking as we were coming back into the studio off air, and you were saying he's not a draw you want.
No, he's not. Craig's not somebody anybody wants in the draw, because you never know what Craig you're going to get, and if you get the best of Craig, he's better than the average. He's better, for me, he's better than quite a lot of the players, because he's so clinical in the balls, and he's aggressive, and he's a great potter, and if he gets all them bits right, he's very, very tough to stop. I mean, I think he has beaten Gaz during the season, I think from 4-0 down, so he's not bothered about being behind or in front or whatever. He just takes what comes in front of him, and it's good to watch as well.
Does that matter, the fact they played, I think last tournament here, they played and Craig won from behind, as Phil just said. Will that be in the back of Gareth's mind?
Nah, Gareth's too seasoned for all that carry on. I mean, Gareth. He's probably in the running for like the greatest of all time with him and Mick and stuff like that. So that's not going to faze Gareth. Where on the other hand, if it was Gareth that beat Waddingham from that, maybe it would have been Craig's mind, but it definitely wouldn't be in Gaz's.
We will find out in a minute. Scott, thank you for your time. Look forward to seeing you play later, and congratulations, Phil. 2 good wins today. Look forward to seeing you when you play in the next stage.
Thank you.
Okay, so let's get on to our second match of the day. Before we do, though, Stephen Jameson caught up with both players.
Well, welcome back to the Pro Series. Already a win under your belt on this Friday morning. How did it go, first of all?
Yeah, I played well. Ollie struggled a bit with the breaks, but I need to break better in the next games, because I know I've got Gareth. But first game's always get yourself in the door and then go from there.
Yeah, you've had to navigate that path quite a lot this season, obviously, with being a new player. But you seem to have, from memory at least, done it pretty successfully on most occasions. The record must be quite good in the prelims.
Yeah, I think I've lost one, I think, to Dan Eaton Leeds, but other than that, I think I've done quite well in the first rounds.
And as you mentioned, run into Gareth Potts in the first round. I'm sure both of you are absolutely delighted with that draw, but as we all know by now, that's just how it goes here. You two have met, I seem to remember, quite a few times this year already. What's the record looking like and how confident are you feeling?
Well, it's 2-0 to me, but anything can happen, so hopefully 3-0 to me, but we'll see.
And in terms of the end of the year, obviously top 28's on everyone's minds, or is it on yours or not?
I think if you just play and you win, it comes with it, like the money and the trophies. If you just play and you manage to win, you're gonna get the rewards, aren't you?
Looking forward to it, whatever happens, go well.
Thank you.
Guys, welcome back to the Pro Series. How much are you looking forward to getting going this weekend?
Yeah, looking forward to it. It's been a while since the last event. Obviously, we've played some events in between, but yeah, feels like a while since we played any of the Pro Series. But yeah, no, looking forward to it. Tough draw as always, as they all are. I'm waiting a winner of a prelim. So yeah, looking forward to getting going.
Yeah, you seem to love playing super tough guys in round one. Not for the first time this year. You've drawn Craig Waddingham, which is a great match for us as fans to watch. Two of the best players in the world. But I'm guessing it's a number you'd quite like to get back, as I think Craig's won the two matches this season.
Yeah, he's beat me twice. And both times, he played really well. Obviously, he's dangerous. He's got a lot of firepower. So yeah, obviously one of the tougher games that you can draw, if not, the toughest at the minute, I would say, on current form. But it always seemed to be that way for me. It always has been. And I suppose the good thing is that you have to be switched on from ball one. So this is going to be no different. But look, at the end of the day, that with the conditions being so good, the rules, the way those tables break, any one of those guys are obviously capable of beating you on the day. So you just have to hope that the break goes your way on the day, and obviously hope that you get enough chances to win.
Yeah, absolutely. I've been asking a lot of players this morning, are you taking a look at the rankings and all the rest of it, because that's so big for the final event of the year. Obviously, you're pretty entrenched in that top 10, so that top 28 isn't something you've got to worry about. But I'm guessing you're putting a little bit of pressure on yourself to finally get one of these cups this year, as you've been close a couple of times, but I know you'll want the big one.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I've been close, but of course I'd like to win, but there's a couple of goals. Obviously, the Champion of Champions just around the corner. I'm not really too sure where I sit with that and how that works. I don't really get too involved in working out that sort of stuff, to be honest. I think you can get a little bit too tangled up in all of that. Just a case of go out, play one match at a time, and hopefully, like you say, at the end, you're contesting for that final, and obviously all the rest sort of follows with that in terms of rankings and in terms of qualifying for the Champion of Champions. So I just think it's important to take one match at a time, focus on the job at hand, and if that goes well, then the rest sort of follows.
Go well, mate.
Thank you.
Well, the talking is over. We're about to get underway with our second match of the day. Craig Waddingham with the first break. Craig taking on Gareth Potts. We've heard from them both. And joining me on the commentary is a man that's just won, actually, out on the arena to the left here, Jordan Church. Great to have you in the commentary box, and great to see you get off to a good start. Lovely win over Christophe Lambert.
Thank you very much. I actually, I played quite well. Went 5-2 up, and he came back to 5-5, and I managed to nick the last two frames. So yeah, I was happy with the way I played. So I played well this morning as well against Adam Basu. So
do you think it helps the fact that you've had the match this morning? And the reason I asked that is, so for Gareth Potts, he's out there cold. It's his first match of the tournament, whereas Craig Waddingham has to come through a prelim like you did this morning, and you'd have had the same deal. Christophe was seeded and you weren't, so you get that warm-up match, if you like.
Yeah, I think it's huge, really, especially like the players. I mean, you look at Craig Waddingham, you think he's probably one of the best players in the world. If you draw him in the first round and he's already got a match under his belt, you're almost up against it already. I know, obviously, Gareth. We all know what he's capable of, but yeah, he won't. I don't think he'll be too impressed with his draw.
No, it's certainly. I mean, there's some. There's no good draws, but there's some better ones than Craig Waddingham.
Yeah, I mean, when Ultimate first came around, I was speaking to Mick Hill, and he said we were talking about sort of if you're not really playing a lot, or you haven't got a lot of match practice under your belt, and you go into like smaller events, you can get a couple of soft draws, sort of play your way into a tournament. But with Ultimate Pool, there's just absolute machines left, right, and centre, and it's just so hard to you have to get off to a flying start really, otherwise you're on the way home.
Yeah, it is tough. It's very quick, isn't it? Straight into it. 50 minutes, race to 7, and it's kind of time to play or you're going home.
Yeah, and especially with these rules, I think you have to attack the game as well. Like in other rule sets, you can sort of slow the game down slightly and play your way in again. But yeah, with this rule set, and the standard of player as well, you have to get off to a flying start, and it looks like Craig Waddingham might be doing just that.
Yeah, it looks off to a great start. That was a lovely cut to the top corner. Canada didn't quite come out as much as he wanted to, but good cut to recover it, and he's in absolutely perfect position now for a very quick start here.
I'm not sure what the ranking system or what the ranking situation is, but I would guess that that Waddingham is in the top 24. Oh, that's not gone well.
Well, all of a sudden we were all but giving him the frame, but just to finish what you're saying, yeah, he's currently 16th in the rankings, so he's inside the top 16, so top 28's the key. If you can finish in the top 28, you'll be seeded for 2023. As we go to 96 players, you get to avoid the first round. It must be touching ball to be playing it this way.
He's going to try and put that in the top.
And that's a big mistake early in this match.
I was quite surprised the way he played that. I thought he could have just sort of stunned up slightly and just took it long. He's such a good cueist that.
And that's often his style as well. He often likes to leave himself pots, you know, from distance long, rather than trying to be cute with position.
Yeah, I think like I say, because he's such a good potter, he can sacrifice length for making sure he's on the right line. So he can be a lot further away, but as long as he's on the right line, he's okay. Whereas a lot of players, they don't cue the ball quite as good as Craig and pot the balls that he does. So they have to be a little bit more cute and get a lot more closer control. But
missing your final ball though, what you're doing in the opening frame is giving a player like Gareth an opportunity just to free his arm up. If you could pick a way to start a match, this would be exactly it. Your opponent pots down to 1 on the table and then leave you a comfortable enough counter clearance and ease into the match.
This is just bread and butter for Gareth. Put this in the corner, one in the middle, and come down to the bottom rail. Put his ball on the bottom rail and black in basically any pocket he likes.
Nice little angle just to be able to get back out as well.
Yeah, these tables are playing so fast as well, so fast. I noticed that my first shot was probably about 3 foot further than it should have been. But yeah, that shot there was it's really easy to get the white out. As long as you leave yourself the correct angle, you could just do anything with the white really.
Yeah, beautiful start for Gareth. Lovely counter clearance just to free his arm up. But when you get used to it out there with the pace being the way, is it just a really nice place to play?
It's beautiful, yeah. I mean, if it's going wrong, it's horrible because you feel like all the balls just seem to be running away from you. You can't get control of them. But yeah, if you're sort of if you're feeling good, then yeah, there's no better place.
Gareth's touch is normally very, very good. He's normally very precise with his cue ball, and it amazes me how quickly he does pick up the pace of tables at times. He's very good at that side of the game. He's played at a really high level all year, actually. Every time we see him play, he plays really high quality pool. He's run into a few performances this year. I think it's the reason it's sort of kept him away from actually getting silverware on the board. Made a couple of finals, lost out to Mick Hill and Chris Melling, and they both played really well in those finals against him.
You have to play well to beat Gareth. I think everyone knows that. He's like the model professional. Practices, puts all the hours in, looks after himself, analyses the game like under a microscope really. Yeah, he's incredible. He was me and Shane Thompson got talking to him about side and we were talking to him for about an hour about deflection, and Shane said for about the next week he couldn't pot a ball.
Yeah,
it confused the life out of him. But
the level of detail he goes into when he starts talking about that, I'm scratching my head half the time. He sees the game to another level.
Yeah, and he's like I say, you have to play well against Gareth, and when you play him, I think because you know that you have to play at that level, you do automatically go up one or two levels. It's and that's probably why it's even harder for him to get that silverware, because he can't sort of fly under the radar, can he?
No. I think he's one of the players to be shot at for sure. Absolute legend of the game. I said this on Ultimate Pool Extra yesterday. He's currently ranked 7th in the rankings. By anybody else's standards, it's a really good season. But for Gareth, I'm sure he probably feels a little bit disappointed with that.
Yeah, well, he's a winner, isn't he? He wants to win. He's like, what is he, 4 times world champion now?
4 times, yeah.
Yeah, he wants to win every single match, every single tournament he plays in. So, yeah, if he's not doing that, then he's not happy about it. So that's the mindset you need to have if you want to be at that level, really.
Very good chance here for break clearance to back up that counter clearance and go 2-0. Talk about it all the time on commentary, punishing those mistakes. Craig will be sat in his chair, and he's been sat in his chair for 4 or 5 minutes now, knowing that the mistake he made previously was a bad one, and staring 2-0 in the face.
Yeah, when you're in Gareth's position here, even though it's the frame after, you still feel like you're punishing that original mistake, even though it's a completely new frame. You're just trying to sort of turn the screw a little bit.
Yeah, I guess do you feel there's moments out there when you know a clearance will hurt more than others? There's times when you really think, okay, now's the time.
Yeah, definitely. Like I say, that shot that Craig messed up in the last frame, he'll still be thinking about that. So not only has that cost him the first frame, he'll be sitting there thinking, I've missed that ball, and I'm now 2-0 down before he's had another go. So yeah, it's a tough score.
Break clearance from Gareth Potts that never looked in doubt from the moment he hit the break, and he does go 2-0 ahead. Well, let's update you with some of the scores going on around the arena. Currently on stream table 2, and you can watch these if you want to jump across to stream table 2 or 3, because we're mentioning the scores there. But Shane Thompson's currently 3-1 up on Rob Warm on table 2, and Chris Melling and David McNamara are underway 4-2 to Chris Melling at the moment on table 3. You can see there Shane Thompson in the background. Said to him, had a chat with him for about 5 minutes whilst you were playing, Jordan, whilst I was keeping an eye on the Phil Harrison match, and he was saying he's having some cue trouble since the World Championships, and in his celebration he's damaged the ferrule, and he's had all sorts of problems trying to get something sorted for this weekend. So he's a little bit worried about how well he can control the cue ball out there.
Well, I think I play the winner of that match, so that's really good news.
Okay. And of course, first match, because Shane is the number 1. He's not going to be the number 1 at the end of this year because he's not had the same level of season, although it's hard to back up what he did last year. But he does have half a mind, I think, on that top 28, although he's fairly secure in there. As is Rob. Rob's in a very similar position. Rob's having a good season. Last time we were here in Blackpool, he made the final, lost out to Mick Hill, but a good run through to the final. Rob was in action earlier on today, as was Craig, who came through fairly comfortably over Oli Bale in the prelim this morning. So Jordan, for everything we were saying previously about punishing mistakes and knowing, trying to get your opponent to think about it for a while, does that matter? Does that make a difference as well when, for Craig now, his next opportunity comes here? This now becomes a big moment in the match.
Yeah, I think if he takes this finish out, obviously the layout's a little bit tricky. He's got a few balls that are sort of close together. This sort of finish here is a finish that if you get this, it's a nice way of forgetting that mistake in the first frame. But yeah, if you go for these again and don't get them and leave Gareth an easy finish, Yeah, I think that's when things can really start to go wrong mentally, and yeah, the match can run away from you. But
whilst he's actually at the table, though, that doesn't really enter your head, does it? It's more about what's at hand.
Yeah, I mean, this is a pretty horrible finish, because I think those two yellows are blocking each other at the top, and obviously the ball that's over the pocket is tough to get on as well. So.
Oh, that could be a great shot.
That is a lovely shot. I think he can play the yellow off of the yellow, and then the game's open then.
Yeah, I think that's how he saw it as well. I think that's why he's gone into it the way he has. He was always going to be going to the left with one of these two yellows.
Brilliant.
Has it just about popped out far enough? I think so.
Yeah, I would say just okay. He would have liked it to have the yellow to have just popped out another inch, just give him a little bit more room to land in with the white. But I think he's okay.
I can play it now. Not the greatest angle to get on the yellow down the table, but as we've already talked about, Craig, a great potter, and he may not try to get too close to this.
Just a little touch awkward. Just a little touch awkward. I think the angle he's got, he can't just. I think he's going to head towards the black, for the looks of things. But if he just tops the white through, so he might have to try and play a half-ball kiss here. Or he can just squeeze past. Great shot.
And Craig Waddingham is on the board, 2-1 down, but excellent break clearance and best clearance of the match of the three we've seen so far. That was very good. And this is what's happening on table 2. As you can tell, Jordan, you're in the commentary box here, so we know your match has finished, and it was a good victory for you over Christophe Lambert. And now Shane Thompson's taking on Rob Warne. Carl Sutton and Dejan Gretsch will do battle. And then we've got Carl Boyes taking on Sean Story. Carl came through a great match with Chris Day earlier on today, went to a deciding frame. And then Declan Brennan and Rob Chilton. And Arfan Dad is playing Simon Fitzsimmons in a prelim. In fact, I can probably get the result of that.
He's already beat Simon Fitzsimmons 7-2.
Yeah, 7-2, yeah. So it will be Fitzsimmons taking on Jake McCartney to round out our afternoon. So all that action on stream table 2. Jump across there if you like the look of any of those games. We're going to stay with Pro Series 7 all day long. We're going to get ourselves down to the semi-finals by the end of play today. So we've got these matches on at the moment, are all last 32 matches. All the matches we'll show you this afternoon are last 32. We're going to be back this evening for last 16 and quarter-finals across our 3 stream tables.
About to see that absolutely ginormous break. Big cue bend.
It's amazing to see his break, especially in slow-mo, to see what happens to that cue. We'll see it here. Watch the cue itself. Really huge bend on it. Huge power. And actually good control as well.
Any customers who come to my club, please do not try that.
you watch that and you think, how are you not ripping the cloth as well? Yeah. All sorts going on, really.
It's insane, that break. It's just ridiculous.
You've got cue manufacturers kind of wincing, seeing the cue do that. You've got the cloth. If you do that in your club, you'll have the club owners going crazy.
Yeah, I'm already pre-barring people if you do that.
That was a lovely first shot from Gareth, actually. It just made the finish that little bit easier. Just developing one on the right-hand side. another break clearance that never looked in doubt from the break onwards. Gareth is certainly looking very sharp this morning. Break's working. He's playing some good stuff out there. 3-1 in front. Match still hinging just on that one error from Craig. This is Stream Table 3. So this, if you like any of these matches, jump across to Stream Table 3. Dom Cooney and Tom Cousins did battle earlier on today, and it was Tom Cousins that got the win, 7 frames to 4. Tom had a very good win over Ronan McCarthy earlier on today as well. So Tom looking sharp. Chris Melling and David McNamara are in action now. Currently 4-3 now to Chris Melling. Hitam Mattel and Carl Morris, Jack Whelan and Jimmy Croxton, and then round out the afternoon, Sean Chipfield and John Rowe, 2 former world champions, round off the afternoon. And there is Deej at the table in frame 8, looking to get back on level terms. Is a great setup here, Jordan, isn't it? I mean, you've played the game for a while, but I mean, as a stage to play on, where does this rank?
Yeah, this is by far the best stage, especially in our game by a country mile, really. I mean, I've got some guys that have travelled all the way up from Kent just to watch this weekend. They're not playing at all, and they couldn't believe the setup, and they were asking, because obviously we're used to playing on outside tables. And normally only having like one arena table for the whole weekend, but once you get through that prelim round, literally every single game is on the 3 arena tables and live streamed. So yeah, it's such a great setup. The tables are just playing unbelievable as well. So yeah, it doesn't get much better than this.
Yeah, I think that's a big thing. Do you feel that in the prelims as well? Does it feel like you're playing a match to get yourself into the tournament?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, it doesn't feel like you don't feel like you're properly in the event until you're playing on this in the arena setup. So yeah, there's almost like a little bit more pressure on the outside tables because like I say, you don't feel like you're in the event yet. So
it's great to hear people travelling up with you to Blackpool just to watch the event. I hope that continues, that trend continues to grow, and more people. It is a great spectacle to come and watch. We're at the Grand Hotel in Blackpool. If you fancy the journey, free entry to come in and watch best players in the world put on a show.
What's great for them, that obviously they've travelled all the way up from Kent, so it's about 6 hours for them. But now they've got a whole weekend. They can just literally like pitch up in this room and they get to watch pro matches all day, all night, and they get to pick one of 3 all day and all night. It's perfect for people to come and watch, really.
Yeah, and of course there's bits and pieces going out in the foyer as well. Go and have some fun on the podcast table, get involved in a few challenges, and go and enjoy Blackpool as well. And yeah, it's a good weekend for anyone that wants to come along and watch, for sure. What I struggle with is Ronan McCarthy, current world champion, unfortunately lost out earlier today. What I struggle with when I'm not commentating, I go out to the arena and I try and take in the matches, and I'm often focusing on one match for the studio section, but I want to watch all 3, so I sort of dance between the 3 and never know what to watch.
Yeah, it's like being a kid in a sweet shop, really, isn't it? Yeah. If you like watching Paul, you haven't got a clue where to watch, really.
Oh, another break clearance incoming here. This has been fantastic, and this match really has been a high level. Barring one mistake from Craig Waddingham, every frame has been off the break. The only one that wasn't was a counter clearance from Gareth. Now 3-2, and well, we said it at the time, it was a huge mistake from Craig Waddingham, and it now feels really big because the match is at this level where it's just blow for blow.
Yeah, when you play these top players, your game is literally under a microscope, and one mistake is he's obviously 3-2 down, but it's now Gareth's break, so it's almost, that break has become like a tennis serve, really. And trying to get that back against Gareth with the size of his break is going to be tough. But
he needs help from Gareth or a dry break. Otherwise, if Gareth keeps dealing with his own break, as you say, if he keeps dealing with his own serve, then there's not a lot you can do.
No, it's so frustrating because you can only try and take the chances that you get, but sometimes you just don't get enough chances in a match. But
I have to ask this, and the referee won't like it, but in your match, did you notice your referee say it was Christophe Lambert to serve?
Yeah, he did. Yeah. I was guessing he was like a tennis umpire.
He's a tennis umpire, yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because I think in the second frame it was my break, and he said Jordan Church to break, leading one frame to love.
I love it. Absolutely love it. Oh, Gareth has made a ball, but this is by far his worst layout to go at from his own break. This is going to take a little bit of working out if he wants to continue the trend. Say there's probably a chance on yellows. Yellow bottom left-hand corner is a problem, but he doesn't have a great opener on yellows. Reds are very awkward.
Yeah, this is horrible, really. He might be forced to take reds, but he would love to be yellows.
This is something you hear a lot. And this will come down to the level of the game as well. Because you're playing great players, you feel almost forced into taking on the bad set here. You feel sort of, you know, you're kind of having to go after the second set, but you're probably looking at it and thinking, this is a better option for me than the safety.
Yeah, well, there's not. I mean, especially against Craig, he's such an unbelievable potter. There's not many safe places on the table, really. But yeah, most of the players on the tour, they're pot balls from anywhere. So yeah, there's not a lot of places to hide, really.
Although that red sneaking top left actually makes a big difference.
Yeah, I'm not sure if he can play so obviously the red in the balk into the top left as we look, and use that left-hand rail to come down the table between the black and red to leave himself in the bottom left.
He did a fuller contact, and that has not worked.
Yeah, it was tricky. They were very tricky. I think even if he pots this now, what does he leave himself? The possibility of a plant, but yeah, it's just tough.
Did play the shot in time when it's not going to land. My first error comes from Gareth Potts, and it's more the positional error than the missed pot itself. Just got the cannon slightly wrong. Hasn't handed Craig a overly inviting counter clearance, though.
You maybe put this yellow into the middle and maybe nudge the yellow below it. He's gone the other route.
Yeah, decided to open up the other problem, which he has done well. Two yellows at the top of the table aren't exactly great either.
I think if he can get himself, obviously if he can pot these two down at this end, if he can get himself straightish on the one that's closest to the balk rail, maybe the right-hand yellow might just sort of drop into the middle. If it doesn't, he could play the safety in behind.
He previously came round to have a look at the double, and he's having another look at it now. I'm not sure if he was trying to get high enough to play it there, and comes up a little bit short. He's got the one at the top of the table, but he's got to be careful not to overrun with this if he wants to play on the double. Much better shot than it looked. But now it's not just making the double, it's playing on the other yellow as well.
He might be playing back-to-back doubles. Yes.
Oh, there's the first one. You shouldn't sound too surprised, Jordan. I've seen you do back-to-back-to-back to win a match in the pro tournament about 5 years ago. Brilliant.
Ah, beautiful. I hope the black goes now.
There you go, clearly goes. And in it goes. 4-3-3 scoreline. Back-to-back doubles to round out that finish. An excellent counter clearance from Craig Waddingham. And we are all square. A mistake apiece, and they've both been punished. Oh, still all to play for here. Let's just dip in and see some of the other scores. Shane Thompson now moved 5-2 in front of Rob Warne. And Chris Smelling 5-4 in front of David McNamara. So there's the only other two matches in action. Stream tables 2 and 3, if you like the look of those. Craig's going to feel a lot better now that he's got back on level serve.
Yeah, you're just seeing his body language. He looks a lot more positive, even though he's back on level terms. But he just looks a lot more positive. That finish is such a confidence boost.
Yes, it's not just the finish; it's the way he made the finish as well. That was tough, and he's come up with a really good finish.
A double of doubles.
And he backs it with a massive break.
Huge. Wow.
Extension call.
I'm guessing the black goes into the bottom right. Basically, he'd like to be where he is now to pot the black, but you would think for a player of Craig's calibre, this would be.
Red ball's in play.
Yeah, compared to the finish he's just taken out, this is routine, but we thought it'd be routine in the opening frame, so take nothing for granted. They still have to be made.
I love watching it. He's one of my favourite players to watch.
Yeah, me too. It really is.
Cues the ball so sweet.
I like his mannerisms around the table as well, because he always makes me feel like he's positive out there. He's bouncing his step. It's like he owns the table. Shake of the head though. He wanted another roll on that one, just to stun across the top of the 8 ball. So just having to leave himself a trickier 8 ball than he would have wanted, but still comfortable enough. And no mistakes with it. Craig Waddingham gets himself in front for the first time. Another break clearance. A standard is very high out there. Following us on this table, Dan Eaton-Lees will be taking on Mick Hill. One of the storylines of the week. Can Mick do it again? Can he win for a 4th consecutive weekend? Will he finish #1? I think that's more or less likely to happen, as there is hope. Chris,
the one-legged duck swim in circles.
Yeah, yes. There are technically 6 players that could stop him from finishing #1, but Stevie Dempsey's not here, so let's rule him out. So that's 5. But Gareth Potts in 7th in the rankings is one of them. But Gareth would have to win both titles and have Mick finish. I think he'd have to lose first or second round in both tournaments. So it's a very tall order.
Yeah, I mean, if he if he wasn't to finish #1, that would be the biggest travesty in the history of Paul, I think. He's won 4. You say he's won 4?
Three times.
Oh,
so
three times,
he's won at the first 3 Pro Series weekends, so he's going for a 4th consecutive. Chris Melling's 7,500 points behind, and you get 6,000 points for winning a tournament. So that gives you an idea of how far ahead he is. As we see Gareth come up dry. Is that the first dry break in the match? I think it is.
Size of his break, it's probably the first one of his life.
Yeah.
It's a huge break, but he didn't get loads of movement there.
He had that very strange tournament final when he played Chris Melling on this stable in this arena earlier on this year, where he came up dry. I think it was 6 consecutive breaks. He didn't make a ball in the match, and he hit them all like the one we've just seen. And Chris was able to win that match, not surprisingly.
Yeah, it's crazy how it works sometimes. I think you have to be willing to change your break around a little bit. I don't know if he did that. I didn't actually see that, but yeah.
I've actually spoken to Gareth about that a few times, and he does change his break, but it's subtle. To the naked eye, it's hard to see. It's more how he strikes it, what he's trying to do, how he's trying to drive the ball through the pack. He very rarely moves where he's breaking from, and certainly would never move to a cut break. He's one of the anti-cut break brigade.
Do you know, it's actually becoming, because I was cut breaking, but it's actually become harder to cut break on these cloths, and the way they how often they clean the balls. It's actually hard to cut break on these.
Sliding off that second ball.
Yeah, it slides off, and you don't get the same strike. So yeah, it's quite easy. I actually think it's easier to front ball break on these cloths because they're so fast and the balls are so clean that you can just sort of puff them open and they just fly around everywhere.
Good contact and they seem to explode on you. Yeah.
Yeah, I think you can actually hit them too hard on these cloths.
Has Craig come far enough? Yes, he's looking at his next ball, so can get past the red. Although, right shake of the head. Is he having to bend it? Yeah. Which he has done. Very good shot.
Played that really nice. And from being 3-2 down and looking like he was sort of in trouble, Gareth was looking really strong. A couple of frames later, he's 5-3 up.
Yeah, we talked about punishing mistakes when Craig made one. Well, Craig has responded by stepping in, counter cleared, break cleared, and reverse cleared. That is how you punish an error. Very impressive indeed. You might have heard just a little ripple of applause whilst that frame was going on as well. That was Chris Melling getting the victory over David McNamara. 7 frames to 4 for Chris Melling. He will go on and play the winner of Arfan Dad and Jake McCartney, who play a little bit later on this afternoon. That Chris Melling, Jake McCartney or Arfan Dad match will be this evening, early this evening. And the other score going on out there, Shane Thompson and Rob Warne. Rob's made a bit of a comeback now, 5-1. Shane Thompson leads over Rob Warne.
5-4.
5-4. 5-4, and it was Carl Morris and Hitter Patel just about to jump on stream table 3 as well. A lot going on here. Of course, we're focusing on the Pro Series for the next couple of days, but we'll also keep you updated with the Challenger Series and the Women's Series. Challengers are well underway out in the outer arena. I think the Women's Series gets underway later on this evening. We'll bring you plenty of action from both those events, especially the Women's Series on Sunday. They're having their own race for #1. Harriet Haynes or Amy Beecham will take down that accolade, but also Emma Cunningham, who has won the last 2 Women's Series events at the mini-series, so she's certainly riding high at the moment as well. And we will see Emma this afternoon ourselves. She's playing Scott Gillespie to round out our afternoon.
She must have got through a prelim.
She did. She had a walkover win, Stevie Dempsey.
Oh, okay.
Stevie Dempsey, not here. So
it's good to see Emma back playing. She seems to be back playing well again.
Playing with a smile on her face and enjoying it, I think, is the key.
Yeah.
So can he get them all and continue this run? No. It always feels like there's a twist in these matches, and this is potentially one. Gareth Potts with an opportunity you feel he needs to take.
Yeah, it's a big frame as well. 6-4, 5-all.
Five, 6-3.
Oh, sorry, yeah, 6-3, 5-4.
Didn't expect that from Gareth. Misses the first ball. Wasn't easy from the jaws, but still a surprising miss. So it's Craig Waddingham with the opportunity.
Just got to be a little bit careful of controlling that second red here.
It's okay. I would have preferred it to stay away from the cushion, but shouldn't be too much of a problem to play on it.
He might actually be able to play the red off of the yellow and top through. Yeah, just opened up that pocket for the red and the black as well. That's a good shot.
He's just short of perfect. I think he just potted that on the near jaw. Would love to have had the other side of straight here, but as we've talked about throughout the match, he doesn't mind the distance.
I think he's okay pretty much anywhere here. If he's straight, he can screw back. If he's high, he can screw back and play the red in the same pocket. Oh my word!
Wow, what's happened there? He played that with rakes of check side.
Wow.
That's huge. I mean, that's because of not getting the better position on the previous ball, but I didn't expect him to. That didn't look like it needed much more than a trace, and he played it with a lot, and it's really thrown offline.
Yeah, that is really surprising. He's such a good player with side as well. He's especially over distance like that sort of shot there. I think he's one of the best at really sort of the sort of slow drag with a load of side. Yeah, I didn't expect him to miss that. It's crazy.
It is. Hasn't left anything inviting here for Gareth, but he'll be thrilled to get to the table. Absolutely thrilled. Let's have another look. And you can see when the cue ball hits that top cushion, it just checks straight up, and because he's played it with all that right-hand side, it throws the cue ball to the left and doesn't come back, and he misses it on the thin side.
I think he could have just played it with topspin.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting that much side actually.
Yeah.
But of course, we're talking about him not too worried about leaving distance, but if he gets the previous shot right, he comes down, he doesn't have to play the shot with the side he did.
It's a good effort. It's still not that nice, I don't think, for yellows. Those two yellows down on the right-hand side, they're blocking each other. He'd love to play a safety with one of those, but I don't think he can at the moment.
Okay, good pot to the top corner. Does he want to try and be aggressive in attack? Or is he going to try and play a good snooker? He has the choice.
I think you have to play the snooker here. He doesn't agree.
wants to be more aggressive.
Yeah, so I think he's going to pop this yellow into the top left and play the white with left-hand side. He's going to hit the side rail, come down, and ideally he'd like to hit the other rail and kick the yellow back towards the black. But
well, he misses himself. Is he going to get away with it? He is not.
Wow. Sound like Owen Wilson at the moment, but this is
he actually
some strange balls being missed here.
I'm not sure that's the cannon he was after, and he obviously missed the pot as well. That's a very surprising shot as well. Means Craig has to go a long way round the table, and he plays that so well. What a shot.
What a great shot.
That is huge from Craig Waddingham. And floats past the yellow, comfortably in the gap. And 6-3 in front, 1 frame away. Made a big error in that frame, did Craig Waddingham. It wasn't punished. And he is 1 frame, potentially 1 chance away from a place in the last 16. Tough one for Gareth to take that. Guess he saw a way of opening them up and was trying to do that rather than playing the snooker. Easy to say in hindsight, but
yeah,
maybe a snooker. But then if he plays the snooker and Craig gets out of it, he gains nothing.
Yeah, true, I suppose, but he's got the opportunity to snooker again. Maybe snooker using the balls that were tied up. But yeah, the reason he didn't get the cannon the way he wanted was literally just because he hit the yellow thicker than he wanted. If he'd have potted the yellow, that he would have hit that second cushion and kicked the yellow sort of towards the black. I think he would have been all right. But yeah, just a slight misjudgment, I think.
So back firmly against the wall here for Gareth Potts. Needs to win the remaining 4 frames. 18 minutes 47 on the clock. Not a huge issue, but he does need some quick opportunities, and he's not going to get one here. Immediately a chance comes to wrap this match up for Craig Waddingham. Not of a particularly kind layout for Craig to go at.
No, I think he's going to have to go reds, but it's that one, the one on the right hand side. I'm not sure if he can play the red off of the yellow and send the yellow into the other yellow and knock the red out. Might be able to do that.
Oh, tries to go into it with the cue ball. That hasn't worked. I was kind of looking further ahead and wonder whether the 8 ball went as well, but that was much less of a problem because there's a way to deal with it. But may have to pull back now because that red that he was trying to develop there is now a major problem. Hear the peeps going in the background. That's for our table next door. Well, I was talking about table next door. Match on stream table 2 has finished. Shane Thompson has completed victory over Rob Warne. 7 frames to 4, so a good start for the number 1 seed. He'll now take on a certain Jordan Church later on today. It's a nice shot from Gareth in terms of opening up the 8 ball, opening up the yellows. I would say slightly risky in terms of he has left a half chance on for Craig. Everything now goes apart from that 1 red on the right hand side.
Do you know that might double into the middle through the gap?
Yeah, tight.
Yeah.
Very, very tight, but possibly. Oh, Craig's not interested, so he's going to be patient and wait. just jumping onto stream table 2, following that win for Shane is Carl Sutton and Dahan Gretsch. Carl Sutton, of course, won last time we were here in Blackpool. Another pot gets away for Gareth. How interested is Craig Waddingham this time?
I think he's got to go. That red now doubles in the corner as well. Big pocket.
Big pocket double. Oh. Oh, he cut it. What a shot.
These brand new cloths, they're like that shot there. He's obviously hit the rail, but where they're brand new, they're sliding so much that you can't. It's easier to pot them if you hit near jaw than it is if you hit far jaw at the moment. They will tighten up a little bit. But
which is the exact opposite of what you're kind of used to, isn't it?
Yeah.
You're used to that kind of being a bit more accepting off the far jaw. And
yeah. But the players all sort of cotton on to that early on, and they'll sort of edge on that side. If they're not going to pot it clean, they are going to use that near jaw. But
well, Craig now 2 balls away, and he's just left himself hampered enough, maybe giving Gareth half a hope. But if he drops this in, the 8 ball will be waiting. I don't think the 8 ball's got a full pocket, but enough. He did more with that shot than I thought he would, actually.
Yeah.
Excellent shot.
Now with his hand on the table, you really fancy him to get this. It's been a good performance from Craig.
Yeah, very, very high level. And that wraps up the match for Craig Waddingham. He knocks out Gareth Potts and moves on to the last 16 of the Pro Series here in Blackpool. A brilliant performance from Wad, and we're going to hear from him after this quick break.
Just an inch of the beast.
Yeah, he does need a big break there. If he could pot a few off the break, that would obviously help.
He certainly won't hold back here. Oh, that's a great break.
Right, well, speed pool, here we go. 25 seconds to clear these 6 red balls.
Red balls in play.
If he gets this plant, he's got a chance. Oh my God.
Could he do this? He couldn't, could he?
Oh my God, what a chance.
What an opportunity this could be. Oh, he's played that brilliantly as well.
Oh my God, what a chance. Oh no, he's hit it too hard. He's done it.
Hit it.
He's done it.
My God, what a grandstand finish! Whoa! Can you believe that? Dom Cooney has cleared the table in 31 seconds.
Whoa, whoa, whoa! What have we just witnessed?
That is absolutely incredible. The score's tied at 6 apiece after 45 minutes of play.
This is the Ultimate Pool app. The Ultimate Pool app. Unlock premium content with interviews and features from your favourite Ultimate Pool stars. Master the game with drills and tutorials from the best players in the world. And every event live. On up to 3 devices with TV casting enabled. There's live scoring, news, player profiles, exclusive competitions, giveaways, and so much more. The Ultimate Pool app. You'll never miss a ball again. Download now from Google Play and coming soon to the App Store. Or sign up now at ultimatepool.tv. Ultimate Pool Exhibitions for your ultimate evening. Book now at ultimatepool.com. Welcome back to the Ultimate Pool Studio. Another night of fantastic entertainment on the way on the table. So we can't wait to get going.
Yeah, it should be another cracking night with plenty of drama along the way with all the players that we go on show. Anything can happen.
It's time to meet our players then. It's you.
3, 2, 1.
Book your Ultimate Pool party now. Head to ultimatepool.events.
Well, welcome back to the studio. Craig Waddingham, who's just won our last match, joins us, as does the world champion, Ronan McCarthy. First of all, Craig, congratulations. That was a very good performance, enjoyable match to watch. What was it like from your perspective?
Yeah, I enjoyed it, yeah. Broke really well, played well. First frame missed the ball, but you can't afford to miss chances against Gareth because you know he's not going to get any more.
Yeah, it felt like the mistake you made in the opening frame might sort of set the tone for the match, because thereafter it was just, lights out Paul, finish, and then he makes a mistake and you step in and do 3 straight frames on him, and all of a sudden it swung the match completely. Yeah, definitely.
You need chances to win, and luckily he played. He just left himself awkward on the red to give me a chance to win, and I took a good finish out, and then after that I don't think I've really missed many balls.
Yeah, no, really high level performance, certainly from the commentary box. Ronan, I know you're out there watching, and I know you're good friends with Gareth. How did you see it from your perspective?
Well, Craig didn't really do anything wrong. He took out a lot of good finishes, and Gareth just didn't play to his normal. I watched him play in practice, and he just never ever looks like missing. And then he was in the arena there, and you could tell he's just not. He's a wee bit edgy or something, because he played a few shots I was very surprised at. Like.
Do you think it makes a difference, and I've kind of been talking about this on commentary as well, because obviously, Craig, you came through the prelims earlier today, it gives you a match to get going, but for all the seeds, they're straight out there and they're into the match environment straight away. Do you think it's if you come through the prelim matches, do you think it does help you a little bit to get into those matches?
I think it does a bit, but if you ask any player
what they would rather have,
they're going to take, we'll take the, going through without playing. But obviously, if you've played a match, you are going to be tuned in a wee bit more than the seeds, but I wouldn't change it. Like.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Craig, we've seen you go deep. You're kind of knocking on the door. You're one of those players yet to win, but getting very, very close. How would you view a weekend like this? Is it about coming here and trying to win a tournament? Do you focus on those rankings? Are you worried about the top 28? How do you kind of see it?
No, I'm not worried about top 28. My philosophy is just play, and if you win, you're gonna win things like so. Yeah. If you keep winning, you're gonna win. I don't bother about money or points or nothing really.
Are you in a position where is it getting frustrating that you're playing well enough to win and it hasn't happened yet, or are you just you're playing well, so just let it happen?
It'll come. You just got to keep knocking. The door will open.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, congratulations, great performance today. We're going to see you again later on this afternoon as well. Next match up, we've got Mick Hill in action taking on Dan Eaton-Lees. Ronan, let me ask you about the match we've got coming up. Mick Hill, he's won the first 3 weekends, could potentially make it 4 weekends on a trot. That would be a serious story if he was able to do that.
It's some achievement now, even to win the first 3. It's because he was struggling. He wasn't looking himself at all. And then all of a sudden, once he got the first win, he seems like a lot more confident about the table, and he's going to take a bit of stopping.
It also, do you get a rhythm of winning as well? I mean, we've just seen you go on an unbelievable winning run, and all of a sudden there's matches where sometimes you could come on the wrong end of a high quality match, but everything just sort of almost falls into place, and you just get that rhythm.
I think once you get into that winning mentality, you get used to winning. Good things seem to happen for you, whereas when you're on a bad streak. You just don't get the wee nudges. 6 each in a match, something bad will happen. Whereas when you're on a winning streak, just everything seems to fall into place.
Yeah, and he's also on the position where he's highly likely to finish number one. He could be caught. Chris Melling, I think, is most likely. Does being number one, is that a big achievement? Is that something that everyone should aspire to?
Oh, if you don't, you shouldn't really be playing pool. Everybody that's in the series wants to finish number one. Anybody that doesn't, you shouldn't be here really.
Yeah, and for you, Craig, I mean, you always talk about the fact you're here to win tournaments, win trophies, rankings doesn't matter to you, but it's some achievement to finish number one at the end of the year.
Yeah, he's done brilliant, and you couldn't rule him out winning 4 weekends in a row.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, he'll be taking on Dan Eaton-Lees in his first match. Dan played earlier on in the prelims and came on through fairly comfortably. Stephen Jameson caught up with them just before, so let's hear from them.
Dan, welcome back to the Pro Series. It's been a little while since we've had one of these. There's a real buzz about the venue. It's freezing cold outside, so that's probably part of the reason, but I'm guessing you're pretty pleased to be here nevertheless.
Yeah, played well this morning. Things are heating up nicely in the arena. There's a few close games going on. I was glad to get the win.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, never going to turn down heat in this temperature at least. But talk us through the prelim win, because 7-3, I think, the score against Craig Lakin. Play well?
Yeah, I've been hitting the ball well coming into it. Probably felt better than I have done in the past. I'm just trying to really stick something together to get a good run. So I'm just on the edge of the top 28. So there's a little bit more pressure on it than normal, but yeah, I played well.
Yeah, well, you don't call it Judgement Weekend for nothing. Hey, I'm guessing you're one of those who'll be sort of refreshing that up and making sure you're in the 28 every other match you have.
I think I'm just going to let it go. I'm just going to just keep off the phone and see how it goes.
It's probably the best way to do it, in all honesty, mate. It's been it's always going to be a strange one, this, because it's been so long since we've seen a lot of players in a sort of series style, because it was, the end of summer, really. So a lot of guessing as to where players are, how they've been playing, how practice has been going. How are you feeling coming into this one, generally?
Like I said, I'm hitting the ball pretty well. I made a few adjustments off the back of the last series weekend, so I've had a lot of time to try and implement that as well. So yeah, I think it's coming together nicely, and just looking forward to the next game.
You mentioned those adjustments. What are we talking, technique?
Yeah, I had a little bit of a battle going on my head with my stance and stuff like that, and I come away from the last weekend and I wasn't happy, so I just booked in to see a local snooker coach who I know, and he just had a look at me, and we changed a few little things, nothing major, but it seems to have paid off.
Well, it's a good start to the weekend so far, Dan. Best luck to it continues.
Cheers.
Being such a huge lover of the game that you are, how does it feel being a pool fan and playing on the stage like this in Blackpool?
Oh, it's amazing. I've played the game a long time now. And like anything really, a mate once said to me that if you don't love it enough, you're never going to be good enough to really kind of reach the heights that you want to. So I think it's like anything, you've got to love it, otherwise, yeah, you're not going to reach the top, are you?
And it's been a pretty good year for you, realistically, on the Pro Series. It's done all right, I suppose. How pleasing has it been to get sort of back on top of the hill, as it were?
Yeah, well, I mean, I was even considering this the other day. I thought, well, it was 1999 when I first turned professional. I was lucky enough to get to the number one in the rankings my first season back then. So, effectively, it's like, 23, 24 years later to get, and what a lot of top sports people talk about is like the longevity and kind of, I've heard Ronnie talking about it and all these different sports people. So, the argument will go on and on and on who the best player is or whatever else. But, the fact that I've got to number one 23 years after the first time, is a great personal achievement for me.
You got a good matchup, whoever you end up playing tomorrow when we get underway with the Pro Series. But I suppose that at this stage of the series, you're not too worried about who it is you're playing, you're more focused on your own game, I'm guessing.
Yeah, there's a couple of things I like to take out the weekend. I mean, you can't really come here and start trying to say, who's going to win the event, or you're going to win the event, or anything like that. But as far as the Pro Series goes, I've still got this quite unique record of not losing a first round match since the Ultimate Pool started on the Pro Series, that is. So that would be nice if I could get 2 seasons of that. That'd be a nice record to set somebody. Can they go 2 years unbeaten kind of first rounds? In terms of winning one of the events, of course, that'd be nice, because that would be another nice record to set, the fact that I've won an event on each of the weekends. And as always, I like playing in Blackpool. I like the hotel events. It's no big secret that I don't particularly like the pool club events. You know, whether there's arena or not, it's just not really where I'm at. So I like coming to the events. I've come here again a day early, seeing a few different people, a few different conversations. I feel quite at ease and happy about everything, irrelevant to the ball's going on or not. I'm feeling happy about being away at pool tournaments again. And I went through a spell where I didn't want to be at the pool tournaments, particularly last year. You know, as I said, you know, not to speak out of school as such, but I just have little to no interest in playing in pool clubs. You know, I've done all that. So the hotels give me that little buzz, and you know, I know there's talk next year of venues where, you know, there's ticketed spectators, and all that kind of makes you feel like, yeah, that things are going in the right direction. And just on that note, just a big shout out to Ultimate Pool. I think, you know, next season with all the snooker players and everything that's going on, it's like if you're not going to be interested now, you might as well just pack it in. Do you know what I mean? So been playing a long time, keep going, and yeah, see where it takes us.
Go well this weekend, mate.
Thanks, mate. Cheers.
Top man, that'll do us, Mick. Thank you very much.
Mate, cheers.
All right, that will certainly do us. Thank you very much, Mick. And a bit of a local derby, this one. Danny and Lees versus Mick Hill. Two boys from the West Midlands who know each other really, really well. Two quality players. I'd like to say, been joined on commentary duties for this one by a fellow quality player. We'll see you later on, but lovely to have the Wookiee in the commentary box. Emma Cunningham on the comms for this one. And if Danny and Lees is to pull off what is still considered an upset, Mick is such a great player that even in this field, his name is still a scalp to be got. Then Dan would love to keep breaking like that for the rest of the afternoon.
Absolutely. Going into it, I think this is the start he could only have asked for. Huge break, got balls down and given himself every opportunity to get himself this first frame on the board.
We have seen much more of the, don't want to say the Mick Hill of old because that makes him seem a little bit too old, but we've seen Mick back to his best this season. It's a lovely shot that from Dan to get into his difficult area.
Yeah, I think that's something Ultimate Pool has done to all these top players. You know, seeing the game grow, develop, the ultimate crazy, if you like. It just puts fire in the belly and makes these players want to get back to where they were pre-pandemic and you know, 10, 15 years ago when they were winning world titles and all that.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. And once Mick got the taste for winning back, well, he's been on a roll ever since. And he's won an event at all 3 weekends of the Pro Series so far this year. No one has ever done it at all 4.
That's just phenomenal with the depth of player we have now as well.
Well, we said last year, didn't we, when Shane won 3 series in a row, that it's very possible we may just never see that again. That's just how difficult it is to do. But Mick's gone pretty close, and 3 consecutive weekends is just about as good. I'll do Shane a solid and say it's not quite as good, but it's not far off.
Yeah, it's to win one is going to be up there on the CV. You know, to me, it's going to be probably mean more than a World Championships to an extent.
Well, we heard Jack Whelan say exactly that earlier on in the year.
When you just look at your opposition and to maintain the consistency throughout a tournament, a weekend, it's hard going. See Dan dropped on his first hard red quite quickly in this clearance and freed them up. This is a tricky shot with a bit of distance between cue ball and object ball.
Yeah, I heard from Dan in his interview, and he said he'd been working with a local snooker coach to just iron out some wrinkles in his game, primarily focused on stance. And it's a crazy thing, isn't it, at times, that you can really overthink what is fundamentally a very, very simple game, but as soon as you are overthinking, it becomes a very difficult game.
Yeah, but personally I think kind of over time, when you're younger and you first start playing, you have no expectation, and when you practice you can That was a phenomenal shot. What a
Made
shot.
that look very easy,
wow.
didn't he?
But yeah, those little things can creep into your stance and your cue action and that. So it doesn't hurt to get somebody to have a look that can maybe pick up on your bad habits that develop over time.
Hey, you just mentioned that in the last tournament he had, as he goes 1-0 up here against Mick Hill, that he just felt like he was just overthinking a little bit too much. He felt like he was playing well, but he was just not quite at it. And when you're overthinking, it just makes you maybe not focus everything on what you should be doing, which of course is the pots. And as for Mick Hill, you can see he's well prepared for this one. He's got his brew. Little mug and saucer out there on his table.
Keep his hands warm in this cold weather.
Yeah, absolutely. I never thought I'd be grateful for the warmth of the Grand Hotel here in Blackpool.
They're looking after us for sure.
I tell you what, I'd go back to the summer and tell myself, don't worry, be thankful for this sort of warmth in a few months' time. So Mick on the break. And
can he reply? Needs a ball.
Well, it won't do with that. I think in his defence he got slightly slug racked there. You can see the two colours either side of the 8 ball not really moving too much, and always difficult to make a ball. But Mick knows there'll come other chances further along down the line. This is all about what Dan Eaton-Lees can do now as Mick brews up a plan to have a better break in a little bit of time. And for Dan, you've just got to take the opportunities that you're given, because you know you won't necessarily be given very many in open table.
Yeah, as was seen in the previous match, all these players, can string frames off one after the other, and the break is a vital part of that. And like I said, Dan's got off to the best start he could have asked for. He's broken, run out, and now he's in with a chance to gain control of this frame and potentially run out again.
Do you think there's an element of when players play the likes of Mick in this example, that there almost becomes, to that point, a little bit more pressure to really make something happen when you get the opportunity, because you know the player opposite you's so good, and not just because everyone's so good, right? But they're not just so good, they're 6-time world champion Mick Hill. So you're almost thinking before you even get started, I'm limited here. Everything has to go. It almost puts more pressure on you.
I think in your subconscious, Mick's won pretty much everything there is to win in the game, and he's created that aura around himself that his opponents, although they might be totally confident going out there, subconsciously there's that, if I miss, I'm not getting back. What a shot. And what vision.
Yeah, have another watch of this. Brilliant.
Black was flying everywhere. That 8 ball could have gone
I mean, the red
anywhere.
going in helps him enormously, actually. Really has opened up that bottom end of the table.
That first shot's a sign that Mick's feeling loose and comfortable already out there. His trickiest shot's going to be dropping on the bottom yellow that he's looking at now. And if he has an angle off the one in the centre, he may play this now.
Yeah, just force it down.
Did he get enough on it? He'll be disappointed with that. Still had to force the angle off that yellow he just played.
You can hear the frustration out there in the arena from Mick.
Yeah, he wanted to take that yellow first, so that he had the 3 at the top left to get on the 8 ball, as opposed to coming down and playing in towards the reds around the centre of the table, because it's traffic.
Yeah, we sometimes say when we watch Mick, it is almost like watching a different sport, almost when he plays. He plays a different game to to plenty of mere mortals, even if he gets out here, and he's still very good chances to get out. He's got an angle here to come down the table, and he can come off the bottom cushion for the 8-ball, but if he's dead straight, he's just got to just play a draw here, but he might be slightly off straight.
He just needs to watch that red. I think he can draw the white ball right back, but if he catches the red, he may run into trouble. He's played it perfectly. Needs a bounce, and that's a great shot.
Yeah, terrific shot, and that's what I'm saying. You know, he's got out here relatively comfortably, but make no mistake about it, when he sits in his chair, he'll be a little bit annoyed about the shot that went slightly wrong for him.
It's almost like when Google reroutes you, isn't it?
Yeah, he won't be happy sat in his chair. A little puff of the cheeks, little, yeah, okay. Because he plays to a perfect standard. That's the level he wants to play at. If it's not quite perfect, well, it won't do. But it will do for 1-1.
You know, the pot Dan missed in the centre. It wasn't easy. So hopefully he lets that go and has a big break on this in this next frame.
Yeah, it can be. We said it a little bit earlier. So much of it can be in a player's own head. This was a tough shot, but it was the keys to the frame, and it was a shot that sort of needed to be played.
Yeah, he was just dropping on that red next to the 8, and if he gets on it, he's running out.
Dan has got a massive break, and the 8-ball goes in. It's not a golden break in the Pro Series, it's worth pointing out. On your Monday nights, that might have been a really good bit of news for Dan Eaton-Lees, but one thing I actually really like about this rule set is we carry on, 8-ball gets respotted, you've done nothing wrong, play continues. It's a rule I actually really like. You shouldn't be punished for making the 8-ball off a break. No, I don't care who would love to. No one can do it deliberately.
I agree. You get rewarded if you pot a ball, and if you don't, then your opponent carries on.
Yeah, that would be the case. Even if Dan hadn't have made a colour, he'd have still been able to continue at the table because he made an 8-ball. And I totally agree with that rule. It's something that sometimes gets a bit of controversy, just I think because it's different to other rule sets. But if you're playing the break, your aim is to pot one of the 15 balls. You don't really choose which one you're trying to pot. You just can't.
Yeah, I think Dan will be disappointed. He's knocked a red. See if.
Or is he playing the red off the red here?
He's going to have to, yeah.
It's a difficult shot. This is one he needs to play to open things up.
He's played that great.
Yeah, that'll do.
He doesn't want that red. He's just knocked to get in the way of him dropping round the back of the red nearest the right. Can he just manoeuvre that white ball off 2 cushions?
Yeah, he's played that really well.
Great.
And so just played that at a pace just to allow the spin that he put on the cue ball to take there.
Slightly overrun it. He's got to play a good positional shot now. It's like that white ball, just run that extra inch.
Yeah.
If it falls short, then he can play a little stun shot. So he's got to force this a bit. That yellow makes it a big pocket. So just concentrate in the pot. And if he gets these, he's going to be very pleased with himself.
Yeah, and, well, I think you'll take that. It's a really good visit to the table from Dan Eaton-Lees. High quality stuff from Dell, who goes 2-1 in front. And this is the man that we're dealing with from Walsall. He was actually promoted to the Ultimate Pool Pro Series last season following his exploits on the Challenger circuit last year, where he was, I think, number 2 ranked come the end of the season. Had a great year on the Challengers, did Dan Eaton-Lees, and has really looked at home in the pros, it must be said. I think he's settled in very, very well.
Yeah, he's a quality player, and I think there was quite a fair amount of people won some money on him throughout last year because he is exceptional, always in the business end of events, and you know, being from Walsall, surrounded by lots of very good players in the Midlands areas.
Yeah, that club that he plays up there, the Darlaston club, that's a very, very popular area for pool players from that neck of the woods. Saw earlier on Hitton Patel and Neil Britton watching on in the crowds, hitting an Ultimate Pool Pro. Neil likely to be, having won a Challenger event already this season, and they both regularly play out of that club.
Yeah, and when you have that breed of player locally in your club, and they're down there playing all the time, playing in the leagues and singles leagues and all that sort of stuff, they're only furthering the game locally in their own area.
Well, Mick's dry again, and having watched that replay, I couldn't really tell you how, but here we are. And Danny Lees here has had the lion's share of opportunities. This could be his 4th straight frame if he hadn't have made the mistake in the second frame.
Indeed, yeah. Mixed breaks haven't been generous to Dan. They haven't been as open as what you would like, but all you want is a chance to gain control of the frame and go from there. It looks like he's going to have to play a cut in this red and try and develop the 2 nearest it, but this isn't easy. You can't guarantee to be on a ball here. Played it with pace. He's still all right. He's got a shot to the top left if he chooses that.
I wonder if that red he's closest to actually goes in the right middle as well, which is a potential option. Yeah, playing that one first.
Let's go. Yeah. Great queuing. Makes that look easy as well.
Yeah, that's not an easy shot queuing across the nap like that. But we are talking about the best of the best here. That's what we've got all weekend long on the Ultimate Pool app.
I'm interested to see how he plays this next red. Does he play it off the red to free it? He may have to now.
He's got to worry about that red on the right side as well, because I don't think it doubles. I think the yellow blocks it. So he has to play it.
I think he wanted to leave himself an angle just to guarantee the white towards the right-hand side of the table. Wow. That was unlucky.
Oh, he's in trouble now.
It's the risk of going into balls. You just can't quite always judge what's going to happen.
Why does he just look there at playing the double down to this bottom left corner? Is that what he's looking at?
He might be able to move it.
Yeah, he's
just
lined
a
it
nudge.
up.
He's got a shot here.
Well, this is where you come to the fore. What's he looking at here?
It'll be off one of the yellows. It's probably the top of the 2 yellows nearest that right pocket.
Yeah, it's a lovely recovery shot.
That's the one.
Lovely.
Quality.
He's done well to get out from here. And these are the finishes which do just hurt a little bit more when you sat in Mick's chair, because there's been a couple of times in that frame where he's thought, right, I'm in here.
Yeah, there was just a little skip in Dan's step there as well, walking away from the table.
Yeah. There certainly was.
Mick will know he's got a game here.
Yeah, I mean, Mick's been doing this for a very, very long time. I mean, no one has a better CV, I don't think, in the game than Mick Hill, 6 times world champion, likewise a European champion. And as of this season, he really hit straps with Ultimate Pool as well. 3 Ultimate Pool Pro Series titles this year, outstanding record. He was by no means poor in his first year as an Ultimate Pool professional in 2021, finished 10th in the rankings, good year. But when you're dealing with someone Mick Hill's calibre, 10th wasn't exactly what he was after. He wanted trophies, and this year he's got trophies, and he's been exceptional. He's been made to stay in his chair for now. God blimey, Danny Lees almost take that cue ball off the table.
Yeah, he didn't get through that the way he would have wanted. You look at this white ball react, it's like he stopped.
Yeah, well, he's almost hit it into the bed of the table. It's nearly gone over the pack, hasn't it?
Yeah, and fortunate not to lose the white in the centre, but still got a ball. And these little bits of run, as we call it, can make the difference in winning and losing a match. You know, Mick's broke twice, 2 very decent breaks and got nothing.
Yeah. Dan didn't get that at all, and the slow motion replay there was picked up brilliantly, and well, Dan's choosing not to go, which is a risk, because any time you voluntarily let Mick Hill at the table, you know what you're signing up for. But these are messy, and Dan didn't fancy chasing, didn't want to give the game away.
I like his way of thinking there as well. It shows that he's in control of his emotions as well. He's 3-1 up against Mick. He's taken out some very good clearances, and he's not got too excited.
Need to find out where Mick's getting those fancy coffees from. I'm not getting the VIP treatment here in the commentary box.
To be honest, I would be disappointed. The cup's so small. That's not going to get me through an hour, is it?
Oh, Dan went full-blooded at that. Cue ball win is a nightmare.
It gives control straight away to Mick.
Oh, you praised his temperament for maybe not pushing the boat out at his first visit to the table. Mick left him a slight tempter, and he went full sail at that one down Eaton Lees, and that's what can happen.
Now we get the chance to see the Hill sat-nav.
Yeah, cue ball in hand anywhere on the table. That's the punishment.
Extension call.
And there are very few players out there, if any, that can see a pattern as quickly as Mick can.
Well, this is his first shot. He wants to go into the yellow here. Yep, nice. And all of a sudden, these reds look great.
One shot.
Yeah, I thought about going at it a few different ways there, Mick, and eventually I don't think anyone's going to disagree with his shot choice in the end. The 8 ball might be a consideration. I don't think it goes to this bottom left. It'll go to the right middle.
Yeah, it's just choosing which red he's going to use to drop on it. Because we know Mick doesn't like moving balls if he can avoid it. And I think that first shot probably demonstrated that, because he looked at playing the red he's looking at now into the left corner pocket, but he was moving a lot of balls, so he chose to go into it.
Yeah, he likes to get his work done early, Mick, and you're absolutely right. It's a great point for those who haven't seen him before. He really doesn't like playing cannons. He's a patterns purist, and no one has better patterns.
I like that, a patterns purist. He might opt.
He's got the angle now, hasn't he, to bump it if he wanted to.
Because he 9 times out of 10 you're going to be guaranteed on the other red into the right centre.
Yeah, and even that one, he's played it in such a way where it's 8 ball full in the face, so he can control the cannon.
Just opens his options up for dropping on that 8 ball now.
Might have even been his plan all along. Quite often you won't really see Mick play many what appear to be difficult pots, but that's all part of the art. That's his game. As soon as he's playing what would be perceived to be difficult shots, it probably means he would say that he's out of position.
Or his opponent's left him there.
Yeah, that too. He's got a lovely angle here, just to drift down. Might leave a little bit of distance, but not too much. It's a fanciable 8 ball to this corner pocket. Three-two. Lovely work from Mick Hill. Just to bring you up to speed with what's happening around the tables. For those of you watching us on YouTube, we are across 3 tables here on the Ultimate Pool app. You can subscribe if you wish. You've got a discount code there in the description. I'd fully recommend you do so. This is what you can catch on the other tables. Carl Sutton versus Dan Grech is on at the moment, and the Carl Sutton Renaissance continues. He's 5-1 up on the Maltese. Previous results, Jordan Church getting through Christophe Lambert, 7-5. Great win for Jordan. Shane Thompson getting over Rob Warren. Still to come, Carl Boys versus Sean Storey. That's a brilliant matchup. That's next on after Carl and Dayan. And then Declan Brennan, Rob Chilton, followed by Arfan Dad versus Jake McCartney. Arfan coming through as prelim against Simon Fitzsimmons a little bit earlier. But the Carl Sutton Renaissance continues. I mean,
he's on fire, isn't he?
He's been brilliant. It's not quite McCarthy levels of magic, but it's not a million miles away.
Yeah, well, he did very well in Killarney, didn't he, at the World Championships? And I knew from speaking to him, he was suffering a little bit with his shoulder whilst he was there. I think he pulled a muscle or something. But you know, I think it's gone away now.
Well, I mean, it just goes to show, doesn't it, how much confidence plays a part in any sport, but especially one that's such a mental game like this one. Carl hadn't won a game on the Pro Series until Series 5 in the summer, and showed up and was lights out all weekend. Won the event out of nowhere. And if you'd said that at maybe the start of the season, that wouldn't have been a huge surprise, because Carl's a great player, but more on that in a moment, because it's a rare moment.
You don't see that happen very often at all, do you?
No, that's a Mick Hill missed pot. Those are collector's items.
And his reaction as well, he was up quick.
Yeah, he knew straight away, didn't he? I think it didn't have much of the pocket to go at, but he obviously had enough, or he wouldn't have taken it on. There's a rare error. They don't come around very often. And Dan Eaton-Lees knows that better than most. This is his chance to take advantage and punish the mistake.
In these little signs of body language as well. You know, Dan will be aware that Mick's not pleased about that last visit. So if he can sort of pinch this frame, it's going to make a massive difference in the momentum of the match, I feel.
Yeah, these best players in the world don't often give you one mistake. They very, very rarely give you two. So it's all important here for Dan that he gets out from here. He's got a nice little angle, I think, to drop in between these reds, or he could come to the right side of them as we look. Maybe even go into it. Is that the plan? There it is.
Still a little tricky.
Yeah, I don't think that was plan A when he came to the table to play that shot. Can't imagine it was.
I'm not sure how fast these tables have started this week.
Let's assume still quick.
So it might be tricky to drop round the back of the red nearest the 8 ball and play it into the top right hand corner. Use the yellow just to hold it.
And we know Dan backs this long potting. He'll need to here.
Definitely assume quick.
It's a good shot. That's a good shot.
Great cueing again.
Yeah, lovely. Great work there from Dan Eaton-Lees, who who does occasionally get out of dodge in situations like that by using his fantastic potting ability. Comes from a snooker stock originally, so his 7-foot tables don't intimidate him too much. That's not what he considers a long red.
No, it's a blue in the middle.
Yeah, exactly. And he continues to extend his lead. Meanwhile, over on the other table, Carl Sutton now 6-1 up against Dejan Grech. He's flying on the hill now, is Carl. And the other Carl on the tour, Carl Morris, is currently 6-3 down to Hitan Patel. As the Hitan Patel resurgence continues. Now a bona fide Pro Series player, really. Look, for the first couple of series that he might purely be making up the numbers in the worst possible way, Hitan Patel, but my goodness me, since he had a bit of a run in Birmingham towards the start of the year, he's not really looked back. He's pulled off plenty of scalps since.
Yeah, that self-belief just comes, doesn't it, when you've done it.
Oh, that's the worst one Dan's hit. Still made a ball. Made 2 for good measure. That can be how it runs for you, but these are a little bit tricky.
If he chooses reds, the red nearest the 8 will be his hardest. I think they're all reasonable. All the reds have a pocket. If he chooses yellows, he doesn't have to move balls, but
well, that red near the 8 ball is certainly the problem ball. Does he feel like he can just double it?
it doubles. But you then move in the 8 when you do that. His key shot for me is the yellow towards the bottom of the table, between the 2 reds. If he can get down in a kind of straight line towards that, he's opened his options up. Is he screwing into this? He is.
Well, that's not come out ideal.
Personally, he's played that too soon for me.
I think he needed to hit almost the gap directly between the 2 balls, didn't he, to split them left and right.
Yeah, and again, there was no guarantee where that 8 ball was going, and now he's tied up the red he potentially could have used to go into them. That's
always that
a
block the
recovery.
pocket. Well, there's your answer. It's a lovely shot, but that yellow has just drifted to seemingly block this bottom right corner pocket, which is a major problem if so, because he's actually got a bit of a good angle here to deal with the rest of his reds. Has he got enough of the pocket? Can he pinch this in?
He's looking at it.
No, just a loss of turn. Wants to glue himself to that red.
It's a great shot. Not left Mick an awful lot to go with.
Yeah, Mick's leapt to the table there, hasn't he? Doesn't like being sat in his seat, even though he's got that lovely mug. Wants to be stood around the table and affecting the game, and he's not got much chance to affect the game here. It's a tough shot.
Double in the middle. No, safety.
Slightly different play style to you, I'd say, in that sense. But he's left a little bit of a tempter to Dan. He's not left the one over the bottom right, but Dan may be tempted to play a double of his own.
Yeah, if he can just miss the black on the bounce from the double, which he'll look at, he can hold. So I can't see him not playing it, unless it doesn't pass the black. Just nudge that hard one off the cushion.
Well, Reds have control in the frame in the sense that the yellow has nowhere to go on the bottom of the table. Other than that, Mick's such a smart operator here. He'll see himself as in this match now.
Yeah, there's a slight loss of turn shot here Mick could look at to screw off the yellow and pot the red in the bottom right. But he's opting to get up behind that one.
He's played a fraction too hard.
Great vision there again, isn't it? You know, to swing that white ball round off 3 cushions and
Yeah, no attempt to play the pot there at all. That was all about the line of the cue ball, and he's about 2 inches too firm.
And considering how close that yellow was to the reel, that's not an easy snooker to try and get.
I mean, that margin of error is 0, isn't it?
Again, Dan showing how well he's cueing the ball, because that shot wasn't easy either.
Yeah, made it look it, didn't he? Carl Sutton is over the line against Dan Grech. So 7-1 win for Carl Sutton. He is flying at the moment. And next up on that table, if you want to go watch it over on the Ultimate Pool app, Carl Boys against Sean Storey. Yes, please. We're going to focus our attentions on this one still. Danny Lees has played a clever little shot here. He's played that very well. Just shows what you can do with the side. Really reacted.
Yeah, the tables are just amazing here. You know, all the players just know exactly what they're getting when they come to a series. And
at the pocket, 5-2. Dannington Lee's 2 frames away, and Mick Hill not exactly on the ropes, but he's going to want to start to pick up some wins soon enough. As the results so far, we've seen Phil Harrison excellent in his victory over Aaron Davies. Craig Waddingham likewise against Gareth Potts, as he continues to have the Golden Boys number on the Pro Series. Still to come, Greg Batten against Josh Kane, and then the one and only, the Wookie Emma Cunningham in action against Scott Gillespie. Looking forward to that, I'd imagine.
yeah, I'm excited to get out there. You know, I think every player does be when they get into that arena, and yeah, pray for a ball off the break and hope the pool gods are kind.
I've been kind to you in recent months, that much we can say.
A lot of it is positivity, I feel. You know, we've spoken about Carl, Hitan. You know, when you get wins under your belt, you kind of just propel off them.
Oh, you can see it. You can see it. The game within the game here with Mick. He's got his break there, and he's already frustrated because it's gone slightly wrong for him, and the split's a bit horrible. And there's an element here where you're looking at the negatives, not the positives, and that's all mindset.
Yeah.
A scratch to the head from the machine here. This is a tough finish, and he'll feel compelled to go for it.
Yeah, 5-2 down. Still plenty of time on the clock. For these guys, anyway.
Yeah. The hitman, Hitan Patel, is into the next round. He vanquishes Carl Morris. 7-4 win for him. Next up on stream table 3, therefore, will be Jack the Wonder Whelan against Jimmy Croxton. All the action live on the Ultimate Pool app.
Did he want to pot them both at the same time?
Well, he seems fairly comfortable that he did.
Yeah.
That might have been the plan. I mean, where he's left the cue ball, he must have intended to. Is this off the side rail and into the problem area? Is that the shot here?
Still a toughie.
Oh, it was. It was a real toughie. Has he still got a shot?
3-ball plant. Not ideal.
Can it even be a 2-ball plant involving the bottom rail, or is there not enough room? Is that what he's looking at?
Yeah.
Oh, I saw Ronan McCarthy make a similar shot to this in the Players' Championship final a few weeks ago. He's got 6 seconds to play it. Mick doesn't like it.
Double. Yeah, the clock got him there.
That can happen. He's not had the worst result.
I think as well, he probably didn't rush that plant, because there's no benefit in just covering the pocket with your red. Dan would have probably played the loss of turn shot.
Yeah, I mean, you can see Mick's frustrated there with running out of time and the shot clock, but actually he showed he was still clever enough out there to think in a pretty cerebral way, because in playing the double that was his loose red on the other side of the table, he's not opened up a single thing for Dan. He's played a good cue ball there. There's nothing on for Dan here, I don't think. That's a really clever shot.
And where that red has come back.
Yeah, a little tap of the table. You don't get many of those. Game recognises game and all that. It's a really clever shot from Dan Eaton-Lees.
I wonder, like, I think I would be looking at trying to skim that red off the 8-ball into the right corner and just dropping up onto the other red. Tough shot, but it's me and my crazy way of thinking. That's what he's looked at. Oh, that makes me feel better. It wasn't as crazy as I thought.
Well, this was the Dan Eaton-Lees shot, and that's just great vision to see that. Really, really clever. Good way to look at it is balls on the table are like currency in tactical exchanges, and if you've not got many on, it is difficult to progress through. That's why you often see players try and take each other's balls off the table, which of course in the old rules and in world rules was accomplished through very negative play, shall we say, but you've got to get quite creative now to do it, and that's a good example of it from Dan Eaton-Lees a moment ago.
Definitely. And it's great to see the rules blossoming. You know, people are getting to grips with them.
How have you found them in general, do you think? Because I know you played World Rules for a long time, also played a lot of Blackpool as well. And you finding yourself sort of seeing a little bit more international style with the way that you're seeing the game a little bit?
Yeah, it's taken a while when you're holding that many rule sets, adapting between them all. And having played on the Pro Series for a couple of years, I've learned the hard way to get to grips with them. There'll still be moments out there where I won't see a shot, and then I'll come and I'll sit down, or I'll watch myself back, and I'll be very frustrated with myself. But then I think in the next couple of years it'll just become second nature. It's no different to learning to play the game again, but a little bit easier because you can hold a cue a little bit.
Yeah, that helps, I can tell you.
And a lot of the top sort of pros, they've all played a lot of Chinese 8-ball, an American pool, and these rules are very similar to that. So it's probably taken them a little bit less time to adjust to the ins and outs of them as it will just purebred English 8-ball players.
Well, it's why I think it's such a I mean, to me as a complete sort of novice player, it doesn't make a difference which rules, but for me as a pool fan, I love a rule set which engages the most people possible. When you've got the option then of, you know, the way this whole thing's going, let's bring on the Chinese and bring on the Americans. Let's have more and more people playing this game.
100%. You know, I don't think we've even delved into the deepest side of these rules yet, because they're so fresh. You know, I imagine, you know, when world rules come in, that it took years for the tactics to come through, and we've seen snippets of it with a couple of crazy matches. Was it Mick and Jordan, Shepherd, when that 8-ball was over the pocket?
Yeah.
You know, there's going to be fascinating moments in matches to come that we'll all realise, oh wow, yeah, that's happened, and you don't learn them unless you play them.
Yeah, for sure. Well, Mick's got that look on his face again. He's right up against the wall now. Dan Eaton-Lees on the hill, but he has broken dry. It's all Mick would have wanted when he was sat in his chair a few minutes ago. But I mean, look at the split in the first shot he's been left with. This is unkind. He'll have that what I call pool player's mentality at the minute. It's not quite going for you, and
yeah, he's 4 frames behind, and he's got to be time aware now as well, because we're dropping into the 15 minutes.
That was missable, and so it proved. I think he took it on as a something of a shot to nothing, in the sense of he knew what his next couple of shots were if he made it, but if he didn't, he knew he wasn't handing the frame away. But Dan Eaton-Lees is full of confidence. He fancies himself to get these. It's a couple of shots away, you feel. That yellow in amongst that cluster of reds is the sort of obvious problem ball.
I don't know if he's just looked to see if it goes in the left centre. if it does, that makes the clearance a bit easier.
Why is he looking at the plant here? Is Mick left that?
I'll have a look at it, and Plant's a big shot because he's free in that cluster of reds then.
I think he's taking this on him, you know. He's fully weighed himself up here. This is a huge shot. This is the match. Nails
Incredible.
it, and on his next yellow. Well, Mick will be thinking, that's just how things have gone for me in this match. He's missed that pot, and he's left the plant on.
He's cueing through that ball so well.
He's done so well to get there.
The side he's generating, we've seen him play a few shots in his clearances, and you know that is not simple.
He's a fabulous curious to Danny Lees. I saw him a few times in the he had a good run in the Champions League on the Monday nights earlier on this year, and he does get through the ball so well. You'd see him play stun shots and be able to stun across the face of the table off no angle whatsoever, because that's just how well he times it. He's a really, really good curist.
Yeah, and going back to what you said about, you know, just getting that coach to have a little look at his stance. If it's helped, then it's helping heaps and bounds.
Well, he's in good shape here. I think he'll want to be slightly high rather on this last yellow to the middle pocket, just to give himself room on the 8 ball, but he's almost there.
That looks pretty good.
It does indeed.
Doesn't want to leave himself too close to the 8, and he's played that perfectly.
Well, what a performance from Dan Eaton-Lees. And if Mick Hill is to achieve the record of winning an event in all 4 events of the year, he's going to have to do it in Pro Series 8, because his Pro Series 7 run ends at the first hurdle. Dan Eaton-Lees takes down the number 1 with a brilliant performance. Super stuff from Del, and Mick Hill is heading to the exit in our first competition. He's going to go again in Pro Series 8. Dan Eaton-Lees we'll hear from in just a moment. Emma, thanks so much for your company. Wish you luck for later on. And in the meantime, we'll hear from Dan in just a moment.
Now he's left himself in all kinds of trouble.
That looks awful straight to me.
We did say we're a great potter. He's going to have to pull one out of the bag for his last yellow.
Yeah, this is tough.
And I think he's going straight in behind the red if he pots it. He's going to have to play this dead weight or with a lot of pace. What a pot.
Tell you what, Jimmy Croxton, what a shot that is.
That's the best shot of the match for me.
It's one of the best shots of the day. Some standard this.
What a shot this is. Look at the straight down the cushion, never touch the sides.
That's as good as you get.
Couldn't have played it any better.
This is the Ultimate Pool app, the Ultimate Pool app. Unlock premium content with interviews and features from your favourite Ultimate Pool stars. Master the game with drills and tutorials from the best players in the world. And every event live. On up to 3 devices with TV casting enabled. There's live scoring, news, player profiles, exclusive competitions, giveaways, and so much more. The Ultimate Pool app. You'll never miss a ball again. Download now from Google Play and coming soon to the App Store. Or sign up now at ultimatepool.tv. Ultimate Pool Exhibitions for your ultimate evening. Book now at ultimatepool.events.
Welcome back to the Ultimate Pool Studio. Another night of fantastic entertainment on the way on the table. So we can't wait to get going.
Yeah, it should be another cracking night with plenty of drama along the way with all the players that we go on show. Anything can happen.
It's time to meet our players then. It's you.
3, 2, 1.
Book your Ultimate Pool party now. Head to ultimatepool.events.
Welcome back into the Ultimate Pool Studio, joined by Brian Buzzer Halcrow and the man of the moment, Dan Eaton-Lees, after that fabulous win over Mick Hill. Dan, start with you first of all, mate. You must be absolutely delighted with how you've played there, because that's not only a great win, it always is whenever you're going to beat Mick, but it's a super performance. You must be buzzing.
Yeah, I'm really happy. I mean, I knew I had Mick if I won my first match, so I was quite ready for it. So you just got to go out there and play near enough perfect pool most of the time against him. But early doors, I thought I've got a chance here. So just tell you just didn't seem to be on the boil, and then you just got to take your chances then, and luckily I did.
It seemed to be a little bit like, I think you made a mistake quite early on in the match, and it wasn't necessarily punished in the manner that you might have expected. And it seemed to be that you took a little bit of confidence from that, and it was visible to us that you seemed confident and you had a little bit of a spring in your step. Was that how it felt out there as well?
Yeah, well, I know I'm playing well as well, so that brings confidence. But like you say, a few of the chances didn't get punished, and at this level, any second chance you've got to take it really, and yeah.
You mentioned to me in our interview earlier on this morning, you've been doing the work with the coach and putting the time in and all the rest of it. You're a dream, aren't you, mate?
Yeah, I said I was hitting it.
Hope they're watching and watching the fruit of their labour, as it were.
Just hopefully I can keep it up and maintain it, because that seems to be the problem. Like, a lot of the time, you go from one match to another and you can't bring the same game into the next match. But
the game won't allow that, will it?
Yeah. Sometimes it just turns on its head and it's a completely different game altogether, and you just kind of got to dig in. But we'll see how it goes.
Certainly will. Brian, I know you were ringside for that one, as it were, front row view. What did you make of it? Because it looked to us in the commentary box, myself and Emma, that it wasn't quite Mick on his game, but he just never was allowed to settle, really.
Well, I noticed from somewhere where I was sat, I've never ever seen before. Spoke to Dan before he sat here. I saw Mick shaking, and I've never ever seen that in my entire pool career with Mick. I've never seen him shake, and he's back on, and that's in frame 2 was going. As I say, that must have been a bit of pressure on Mick there for him to be shaking. We all have a shake every now and then, you know what I mean? But I could visibly see it. And I think where the frame that changed that match there was when he was 3-2 up, and he's got the table, and he's tried to run a ball in the middle of the side, and he's missed it. He's handed the table back to you.
Shot,
so I think that was the pivotal moment where the game went to Dan, and he just marched on from there. He was deserved winner for me, man.
Yeah, and I suppose for you, Dan, I mean, if from your neck of the woods, I can't imagine many has more respect for a player like Mick, because obviously you've known him for a very, very long time. But in that sense, is it more of a special win because you've got that sort of?
Yeah, I mean, every win's special on this stage. But yeah, like you said, I've known Mick for a long time, since I was that big, and
yeah, a little bit bigger now.
Yeah, just a little bit. But yeah, we've had a few games over the years, and I've done pretty well against him. So obviously, I took confidence in that coming into it. I beat him. I think I beat him in the Monday nights singles. I beat him on a UK tour. So obviously, well, it doesn't get any bigger than that. It's in front of the crowd. That's where you really got to do it. And just happy I played well and managed to get over the line.
Is it one of those where, do you feel that you've had a bit more experience now there in the big arena? Do you feel like you're getting a little bit more used to it?
Yeah,
now?
well, I said when I come off, that's the table I want to be playing on. You don't really want to be playing on the outside tables and trying to qualify. Stick me straight on there, and I'm all right. So it just suits my game, and the more matches I play on there, obviously, the more experience you get, and hopefully the results start coming.
With that in mind, that top 28's got to be on the radar. That's a pretty good way to go about it.
We'll take it one step at a time. It's only two matches, but yeah, we'll see how it goes.
And for you, Brian, tough lines I know in the prelim with Phil Harrison, wasn't it, in your draw earlier on? How did the match go from your perspective?
Stood and watched. Basically, the pool gods were at it again for me. I just stood and watched. I had 4 dry breaks. I played well. I never missed a ball. Lost 7-3.
Was it the same Phil Harrison that played Aaron Davies a little?
It was. Yeah. I was speaking to my mate, my roommate. I says, I've just watched Phil beat Aaron, and he played exactly the same as he did against me. So 6 out of 7 he's done against me, and he's then done 6 out of 7 against Aaron. And if you're producing performances like that, that's winning material. You know what I mean?
It certainly is, and it certainly was for you in that match, Dan. Congratulations on the win. We're going to take a very short break. In the meantime, we're going to hear from our next 2 players, which is Josh Kane and Greg Batten. But also worth pointing out, we are leaving you on YouTube. If you do want to continue watching the Ultimate Pool action, and we highly recommend it, we've got a fabulous afternoon for you for the rest of the day, then make sure you're heading over to Ultimate Pool TV. Get your subscriptions in with that discount code and join us for the rest of the afternoon. Bid farewell to YouTube, and we'll see you very soon on the Ultimate Pool app. Next up is Josh Kane versus Greg Batten. I caught up with him earlier.
Greg, welcome back to the Pro Series. How much are you looking forward to this weekend, first of all?
Yeah, really excited. I've prepared well, or as well as I think I should have done, and yeah, really excited.
In terms of the year, it obviously had to wait quite a long time to get to this 4th weekend. Has it sort of built up the event a little bit more in everyone's mind, you think?
I think it will have done, and everyone's looking forward to this weekend, Judgement Weekend as they call. And yeah, for me, obviously, I think the break has helped me. It's forced me to practice harder, which I needed to do anyway. And yeah, fingers crossed I have a good run.
Yeah, absolutely. It's what it's all about. And obviously that top 28 is in quite a few people's minds. I'm imagining it's in yours as well, given your position sort of in that mid-20s area. There's a lot of people in and around you who'd quite like that spot.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard not to look at the rankings, especially now we're at the end stage of everything. So for me, a bit like Craig, you know, Waddingham, I think you interviewed earlier, it's just about staying in the present moment, trying your best to focus on each match, and if you win, then everything else will take care of itself.
It certainly will. Given that, we've got a great first round match, whatever happens, still playing at the moment over in the prelims, Jordan Shepherd and Josh Kane. You can pretty much give the same answer for both players with regards to playing them. 2 top players, should be a good game.
Fantastic players, both different in style. I've got a good record. I think the last time I played Josh I won, and the last time I played Sheppy I won, so hopefully that stands me in good stead. But yeah, fantastic players, and it'll be a really tough match.
Looking forward to watching it, mate. Go well. Josh, welcome back to the Pro Series. We have to start with one thing and one thing only, because it's the prelim that you've just played against Jordan Shepherd. 6-2 down, 176. I'm guessing the heart rate's still going after that.
Yeah, to be honest, I felt really good in the match, even at 6-2. I made one error where I snookered myself thinking I could get through a gap and I couldn't, and then the other error was a safety error, and Jordan's pulled out one of his specials from nowhere, which I thought still relatively safe, but he pulled out a double from nowhere. I'm at my chair, sitting in my chair at 6-2 thinking, if my brakes turn around and if Sheppy's brakes start going bad, I can win the game here. From 6-3, I ran free to go 6-6, and then he was on a tricky finish in the last, to be honest, and he just fouled wrong angle on his second to last ball. He fouled with his cue, and he did. They were easy for me, but he conceded the frame after the foul. So luckily for me, I didn't actually have to run the match out.
Well, it's a pretty crazy start to the weekend, but as we know by now with this series, there just isn't any easy games, and you've got to be on it from minute 1. That must give you a lot of confidence going into round 1 now, having played such a tough prelim.
Yeah, it definitely gives me a lot of confidence. Jordan, in my eyes, he's one of the best players about, so you're pretty hard done to if you're drawing him in a prelim, but it's a shark tank, a bit like the Challenger Series. Whoever you draw in the Pro Series, you're going to be a tough game, but in my opinion, Jordan is one of the best players around, so I'm delighted to get that win.
Yeah, absolutely. And in terms of this weekend, Judgement Weekend, we've been calling it, building it for ages. And the thing is you players can build it up for ages as well, because it's been so long since we've had one of these weekends. You can work towards it and at the end of the year. How confident are you feeling coming into this weekend, generally, would you say?
I'm feeling really good in my game. Obviously, as we just spoke off camera, I've had an eye infection, so I haven't practiced for probably a week and a half. But before that, I was really putting in the time, really enjoying my pool and playing really well. Seemed to have brought it into this weekend. Obviously, a little bit of rust there with not picking up my cue for a week or so. But yeah, I'm really confident and looking forward to hopefully having a good run.
Well, that's what it's all about. Are you going to be keeping an eye on those rankings this weekend, or are you trying to put it to the back of your mind?
I think just do my business, and then whatever happens at the end of the weekend happens. That's the way I look at it.
Sounds like a plan to me, mate. Good luck.
Cheers, mate.
Well, good to hear from both Greg and Josh Kane, and we are ready to get underway. 50 minutes back on the match clock, a race to 7, and Josh Kane to get us underway. And joining me in the commentary box for this one, Chris Mellon. Great to have you here, Chris, and you were out in action earlier on and playing some good stuff and feeling good.